taran na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Taran na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. School-based feeding program ating pagtibayin. Wastong pagkain ating ihahain, mga batang kulang sa timbang. Ating pakakainin ng Go, Grow, and Glow. Adolescent reproductive health ay gawing gabay at patnubay ng batang mausisa ay di maranasan. Ang early pregnancy ay maiiwasan. Kalusugan ay mahalaga sa edukasyon ng mga bata. Tayo na't magkaisa, halina tayo'y sumama. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. National Drug Education Program or NDEP kung tawagin. Ito'y paigtingin, mga bisyo'y alisin. Sigarilyo at droga'y dapat nang puksain. Water sanitation and hygiene in schools ating kompletuhin, 3 stars ay abutin. Malinis na tubig, segregated na toilet, group hand washing at may napkin na rin. Kalusugan ay mahalaga sa edukasyon ng mga bata. Tayo na't magkaisa, halina tayo'y sumama. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Medical, dental, and nursing services na atin ding binibigay upang matugunan problemang pangkalusugan ng mga guro at kabataan. School mental health program, kamalayan ito'y bigyang diin. Kaisipang malusog para sa akin at sa'yo, kabataan at guro, tara usap tayo. Kalusugan ay mahalaga sa edukasyon ng mga bata. Tayo na't magkaisa, halina tayo'y sumama. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay, Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Okay talaga sa DepEd. Okay talaga sa DepEd.
Amami amajatan langi maraya-raya paray ingagan mo maparatal ni kami ipapatulam mo iurem tadavun kapunne kalangin ikanami takagagaw iawa mo ni kami tagaw ako manu ikatagarulyan kakunna pamako mami manakatagaruli ni kami Arya kami papasifu kapangakaka palyara kami kadena marakay.
Isang okay na okay afternoon po sa ating lahat. Shout out to our live viewers all over the Philippines from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Ako po si Nurse Precious ng Santiago City of Cagayan Valley Region 2, sending you good vibes here in our National Drug Education Program webinar series.
At ito po ang inyong lingkod, Nurse Nico from SGO Quirino. Let's give our shoulders a tap for a job well done. Dahil hindi po tayo bumitaw from the very first episode up to now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the fifth and final episode of our NDEP webinar series 2021 entitled The Importance of Life Skills in Drug Prevention. To all the viewers out there, mapya nga fuga kani kayo nga min, na imbag nga malem kada kayo amin. Welcome to our final episode.
Yes, but before we formally start, atin pong pinasasalamatan ang mga tao sa likod ng Okay sa DepEd jingle entitled Okay Talaga sa DepEd. All thanks to Ma'am Luz Viminda Ikawalo, Ma'am Everdina Giltendes, Ma'am Elaine Joy Ikawalo for passionately crafting the words and lyrics, Ma'am Elaine Joy Ikawalo for rendering the musical scores, and Ma'am Rishaline Mayoral for her incomparable singing prowess.
Ayan, how about a heart emoticon to all our multi-talented teachers? We also would like to acknowledge Father Ranhilio Rani Kalangan Aquino for composing the Ibanag version of the Lord's Prayer. The audio from our invocation was an excerpt from the virtual mass during the Feast of Saint Hyacinth. Our invocation po mga kasama also highlights the Spanish era church that is situated all across the valley.
Yes, but aside from the majestic Spanish-era church, Cagayan Valley Region 2 has more to offer. Heto na nga mga kasama. Please direct your attention to your screen for the virtual tour to Cagayan Valley Region, your islands and valley of fun.
Given its unique geographical location as the region with valley and islands, it is wrapped with all the basic prerequisites for a perfect holiday. Fun in the valley and islands could easily be the catchphrase of the place, as it gives you reasons to explore its islands and its waters. The region has undeniably alluring landscapes, varied from mountain ranges in Sierra Madre, picturesque sand beaches in Santa Ana, limestone caves in Nueva Vizcaya, to tropical rainforests in Isabela. The region has innumerable natural treasures to explore, from the dreamy beaches and crystal waters in Batanes, and ultimate outdoor places in Quirino. And though with perfect destinations for water activities, places that give opportunities to soak up the sun, and areas that give adrenaline rush and extreme adventure. The region has numerous farm tourism attractions and has a vibrant diversity of culture. It also offers tasty delectable that you cannot resist and that can only be found in the region. The strong faith of its people caused the establishment of pilgrimage structures that shows people from far and wide. It is also a home of internationally recognized universities, making it an Asian education destination. Behold the wonders and treasures of the Cagayan Valley and Northern Philippine Islands region. The raw beauty of the many places will definitely mesmerize everybody with its valley and islands of fun.
Isn't that amazing, mga kasama? We would like to thank Department of Tourism Region 2 through the leadership of Director Fanibet T. Domingo for her immediate approval on the use of their promotional video na napanood po natin kanina. Salamat po, ma'am! We know, excited na po ang lahat na gumala at mag-explore. All are invited to venture here in Cagayan Valley kapag okay na po ang lahat. Just don't forget to tag us along to be your local tour guide. For now, let's just enjoy each other's company virtually as we reach for about 1,000 views. So please click the share button, tag your classmates and workmates, and spread the good vibes.
Yes. And now, to formally start our program, let us hear a message coming from the Executive Director of Dangerous Drugs Board himself, Yusek Earl Pisa Vedra Sese.
Isang magandang araw po sa lahat. I would like to start with this question. How ready and well aware are we to say no to drugs? Ito ang mahalagang tanong na gusto kong pag-isipan natin sa araw na ito. If we do an introspection or journey within ourselves, there will be important elements which we will discover. Elements like our individual gifts, talents, and even discipline. These important elements can be put into good use, especially in promoting a very important advocacy. Those who promote the anti-drug campaign using various approaches and modalities maximize the use of their talents and skills. Buong puso nilang ginagamit ang kanilang kakayahan at karunungan upang ibahagi ang mahalagang impormasyon ukol sa pagsugpo ng drug addiction. Every day is a learning process for them, and they discover more ideas to strengthen the key messages they promote. Ultimately, they create pool of equally competent advocates who tirelessly educate sectors and communities. Ito po sana ang hangarin natin kung kaya't patuloy ang pagpapalawig natin ng kampanya kontra droga. Nawa ay kasama ang ating mga guro at estudyante sa pag-a-advance ng drug-free communities na agenda. I would like to emphasize one important sub-element of life skills, and that is the ability to make the right decision. Naririnig natin na marami sa ating mga kababayan ang tila nahulog sa bitag ng ipinagbabawal na gamot sapagkat sila ay natukso ng maling akala na ito ay nakakatulong para makalimutan ang problema. Yung iba naman napaniwala na ang droga ay nagpapalakas ng katawan. Dahil apektado ang desisyon sapagkat nakakuha ng maling impormasyon, irresponsable nilang sinubukan ang iligal na droga. Maling hakbang na aabot sa pagsisisi sa kinabukasan. Kaya ko ginawang halimbawa ang narrative na ito sapagkat ang abilidad ng tao para gumawa ng tamang desisyon ay nakadepende rin sa tamang impormasyon at edukasyon na makukuha sa paksang pinag-uusapan. Kung malakas ang advokasya natin, kung saan mas lalo nating pinapaintindi na ang droga ay salot at hindi ito nakakatulong, mas maraming buhay ang ating masasagip at mas maliwanag ang kinabukasan sapagkat mababawasan ang bilang ng mga biktima ng bisyo na ito. Dito namin kayo kailangan. Ang inyong ambag ay hindi matatawaran. Importante na committed tayo sa advokasya at nais natin na tumulong. Nawa ang inyong matutunan sa araw na ito ay magbibigay ng dagdag na impormasyon at inspirasyon upang patuloy ninyong samahan ang gobyerno, samahan ng Dangerous Drugs Board, samahan ng kagawaran ng edukasyon tungo sa mapayapang Pilipinas na malaya sa salot ng droga. Muli, patuloy po nating hangarin ang mabuting kalusugan ng lahat sa pamamagitan ng ibayong pag-iingat.
Thank you so much, Yusek Earl, for reminding us once again of our ability to make the right decision and be a change agent in the prevention of substance use and abuse. Okay, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, for us to have a better understanding of what is in store for the National Drug Education Program, let us listen to the message coming from the Division Chief of the Bureau of Learner Support Services School Health Division, Dr. Maria Corazon C. Dumlao.
Magandang hapon po sa ating mga masugid na taga-subaybay sa ating National Drug Education Program webinar series. We are now on our 5th episode, our last for this webinar series this 2021. We would like to thank everyone for staying with us up to this point. Ang recording po ng ating mga webinar ay mananatili sa ating Facebook page at ma-access din sa ating learning management system at maaari ninyong balik-balikan to serve as reference in the future. Last time, we discussed the implementation cycle of prevention interventions, a framework that aims to guide our program managers in every step of their implementation of evidence-based interventions. I hope that you have found that framework helpful in your respective work assignments. Our topic this afternoon will be exciting, especially for our learners. We will talk about the importance of life skills in drug prevention. Alam niyo, marami tayong mga bagay na natututunan sa paaralan, paano magbilang, paano magsulat, paano magbasa. Mahalaga ang mga skills na yan sa ating pang-araw-araw na buhay. Pero may particular na set of skills na mahalaga din nating matutunan para maharap at mapagtagumpayan natin ang iba't ibang hamon ng buhay. Ang mga kasanayang ito ang tinatawag nating life skills. Life skills are abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable an individual to deal effectively with the daily challenges of living. In constantly changing environment, having life skills is an essential part of being able to meet the challenges of everyday life. The ongoing stress and uncertainty of COVID-19 pandemic have led to conditions like anxiety and depression, which to some become a risk factor for substance use as a way of coping with stress or emotions related to the pandemic. The development of life skills helps the students to find new ways of thinking, problem solving, and recognize the impact of their actions and teaches them to take responsibility for what they do. Maraming context ang application ng life skills. At ngayong hapon, ang isa sa tinitignan natin ay kung paano ito magagamit sa substance use prevention. Nagpapasalamat tayo sa muling pagbabalik ng ating dynamic at experienced na resource person sa ating webinar series. Not only a national UPC trainer, but also an international speaker and a global trainer on drug demand reduction. And kasama ko siya sa Vienna, Austria during our training on drug demand reduction. A resource person has been an advocate for a drug-free workplace for a long time. To many of you who have joined our webinar series before, for sure, isa siya sa mga natatandaan ninyo sa kanyang high energy. He will be introduced later. For now, feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
And there, fellow advocates, what can be more inspiring than those words from Doc Dumlao? Thank you so much po, Doc, for setting our minds and our hearts as we are about to learn more from our resources speaker this afternoon. But before that, we'd like to inform you guys that we'll keep this webinar as interactive as possible. So for questions, comments, and other feedback, please go to the link provided in your screen. Now, I believe we are ready to meet our brilliant speaker this afternoon. Nurse Nico, please do the honor to introduce our speaker.
Yes, tama ka, partner. It is an honor indeed. Our speaker for this session is none other than Sir Santaner Santi Tedranes Iray. He has been the chief trainer of Drug Check Philippines for 16 years, handling the training and development programs of the company. He mastered the advocacy of drug-free workplace by offering a comprehensive drug abuse prevention program to the company's clients, both public and in private. He strengthened his platform by partnering with Philippine Council of NGOs against drug and substance abuse, where he served as a spokesperson for plans and programs for 12 years, advancing its flagship programs, Family Life Skills or Pagsasanay ng Pamilyang Pilipino, who specifically handled the life skills training for the youth and was part of the team that initiated the revision of Life Skills Manual in Jakarta, Indonesia and Penang, Malaysia in 2012. The concept of workplace-based prevention intervention solidified his drug-free workplace advocacy as he was a member of the pioneer team, the national trainers for the Republic of the Philippines of the Universal Prevention Curriculum by Colombo Plan. His passion for drug prevention has made him a public figure and an in-demand speaker with his animated style in schools, colleges, and universities that paved the way to his guesting on several news and current affairs on free and cable TV, radio, and podcasts. He has also become a product endorser of an ointment brand. He was recently recognized internationally as a pioneer member of the Poll of Global Master Trainers for International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals, of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime at Vienna, Austria. And he was also recognized as an alumnus of the International Visitors Leadership Program in the United States of America. Recently, dear friends, he became a certified neurolinguistic programming from the American Bureau of NLP. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker for today, the Chief Trainer of Drug Check Philippines, Sir Santaner Santi Tet Ranas Iray.
I'm so excited to be doing the final episode of the NDEP webinar series. Maraming salamat po. I hope I'm coming to you very loud and clear and you are seeing me on your monitor. Can
Yes.
somebody give me the feedback po if you're seeing me on your monitor at the same time if you're hearing me loud and clear?
Yes, sir, we are
Thank you very
hearing
much.
you loud and
Loud and
clear.
clear.
Yes. Thank you very much po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And excited po ako na i-discuss ito. At the briefer, sinabi po ni Doc Dumlao kanina yung meaning or definition of life skills. And that's the ability for adaptive and positive behavior. Like we are facing a pandemic. And I would always say this, that the only people who can survive the pandemic are those people who can embrace the change of time, who are flexible, and who are adaptive of the changes that is happening. And at the same time, having the life skills is actually teaching us the positive thinking attitude. And positive thinking does not mean that you have to stay away from the negativity that is happening around you. It does mean that you have to stay away from the negativity that is happening within you. The power of life skills is teaching us to start that positive thinking attitude, because what you think becomes how you feel, and how you feel becomes what you do, because whatever your mind can conceive, your body can achieve. Pharmaton, commercial po yan, but I am not being paid to do that. All right? So life skills are abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable us to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. So araw-araw, marami tayong mga circumstances na pinagdadaanan. Some people would unleash the best and the beast in their potentials when they are faced with circumstances. And because of the life skills, ayaw natin yung beast. We want the best in our potential. But we cannot invalidate how other people are facing it through their coping skills, because your coping skill may not be the same of my coping skills. Ibig sabihin, iba-iba tayo. Kaya yung pagtuturo natin ng life skills, and I'm so excited na marami po tayong mga BKD coordinators or NDEP coordinators, because we are life skills providers to our learners. So kapag natuto na tayo, we can also share this to our learners, because we cannot give what you don't have. We need to empower ourselves as a provider na tayo dapat is mauuna doon sa life skills so that we can channel our learning doon din sa ating mga learners. I always believe na pag binigyan tayo ng platform na ito, we know better. And once we know better, we can do better. And if we do better, we become greater. And the power of life skills is for our greatness. We may not be perfect, but our imperfections are very much perfect for our purpose. I'll say that again. We may not be perfect, but our imperfections are very much perfect for our purpose. Yan ang binibigay ng life skills sa atin, for us to have that self-awareness na hindi naman talaga tayo perfecto, pero yung ating imperfections po, pwedeng magamit natin yan as opportunities to become better. Yun yung mga challenges na pinagdadaanan natin every day, yung mga problema na pinagdadaanan natin every day, yung mga experiences natin sa buhay. And we can never choose our problem, but we can choose to move forward even in the midst of our problem. At yan yung tinuturo ng life skills. And I am really excited po kasi marami tayong matututunan sa araw na ito. So it is a set of life skills that you are going to learn today that are needed by an individual to cope with the problems and demands of daily life. Nabanggit kanina sa briefer ng atin pong Executive Secretary ng Dangerous Drugs Board na yung decision making natin, yes, yung decision making po yung ini-empower ng life skills, pero pag nagkaroon man tayo ng hindi magandang desisyon, we cannot go back and change our bad beginning, but the life skills is empowering us to write a beautiful ending of our own story. So may pag-asa ka pa kasi hindi ka nag-iisa. Alright? Now, life skills are interrelated to each other, and no single life skill can fully help the adolescents cope with his or her problem. Kaya we will be learning this afternoon yung 12 life skills to empower an adolescent, and tayo rin dito as a life skills provider sa ating mga learners. So ituturo sa atin yan ngayon, and what I want with you is to listen carefully and to take down notes kasi importante na naaalala nyo ito, and at the same time you talk after my session para mas magaling yung ating recall. And then yung pinaka best dito is tayo mismo as a provider of life skills, tayo mismo ang gumagawa nito kasi nothing beats the application. Kasi kapag pinakinggan lang natin ito, hindi pa rin natin ito maisasagawa, magiging useless lang po yung learning natin this afternoon. Life skills cannot be taught separately from the behavior it wants to evolve or develop. So ibig sabihin po, it's a multifaceted approach. Life skills is a combination of different skills na ituturo natin sa bawat isa para at least if we are confronted with circumstances in our lives, especially the adolescents, ready na silang humarap nito. Kaya kahit wala tayong problema or wala tayong pinagdadaanan, it is good that we are empowered. It is good that we are taught already of the life skills, because the moment the circumstance hit us, we will not be able to reach our rock bottom. So yun yung ginagawa ng life skills, piniprepare talaga tayo para pag meron tayong kailangang desisyonan, may mga bagay na kailangang pag-isipan, mga circumstances na kailangan nating pagdaanan, we are ready and we can tell to ourselves and to our learner, we must be ready and you should be ready. Alright? Now, adolescence po, yung pinaka-parte ng pag-aaral natin is during our high school life. Kaya nga yung kanta ni Sharon Cuneta, if I may sing a portion of which, high school life, oh my high school life, so exciting, kay ganda. Bakit pa graduation ay luluha kang talaga? So yung adolescence natin or yung ating high school life, ito talaga yung pinaka-exciting na point ng ating pag-aaral. Pero ito rin yung pinaka-vulnerable stage ng buhay natin. If I may cite, sa akin lang po ito, no, I divided our life into 3 generations. When we were young, we have enough energy, we have enough time, but we don't have money. Alright, nung bata tayo, napakalakas mo, meaning you have enough energy, you have enough time, pero wala ka namang pera. Pero nung ikaw ay nagtatrabaho na, you have enough energy, you have enough money, but you don't have enough time because you are so preoccupied. Pero when you were in your sunset years, ibig sabihin ng ikaw ay medyo nagkakaedad na, you have enough money, you have enough time, but you don't have enough energy. So eto yung mga 3 generations natin na dinivide ko po, pinapaalala sa atin that we will definitely have different experiences in life, situations on our daily life, challenges po na iba-iba, yung demands of our daily life. Diba? And yung adolescence na to, that is really a high risk stage. Bakit po? Kasi dito, yung independence of making your own decision without the help of other people. Kasi nga, diba, nagiging awkward na ito. Ayaw mo nang ihatid ka. Diba, dati hinahatid ka ng parents mo pag nasa school. Ngayon, awkward na. Minsan, nagiging awkward ka na when you kiss your parents kasi nga, medyo nagkaka-crush ka na. So, ito yung mga stage na ito that you are really longing for the sense of belongingness, and dahil sa peer preference and peer influence, naaapektuhan po yung initiation ng paggamit ng droga or substances. Like they start from the gateway drugs like smoking, vaping, trying to drink alcohol, and resorting actually to heavy drugs and even illicit drugs such as marijuana and even shabu. So life skills is empowering the adolescents to make the right decision assertively saying no without offending the one offering it. Saying no because the adolescent believes that this will not be good for his future. Kasi wala pang umamin nang dahil gumamit ng drugs, gumanda ang buhay. So bakit ka pagagamit? Kasi kung wala ang droga sa buhay mo, ang kinabukasan mo ay sigurado. And that is a straight message that we want our adolescents or the younger generation or the Gen Z to hear from us so that they will actually avoid the initiation of the use of substance. So that's the power of life skills to create sound decision for himself kasi empowered na siya eh. Alam na niya kung ano yung magiging decision niya. So if he or she is hit with that circumstances na kailangan niya magdesisyon, tama yung magiging decision niya. I hope you are getting my point. So ito pong life skills is acting like a vaccine. It is a protection that you need. If we are going to relate it right now to a pandemic, ito po yung bakuna, ito po yung COVID-19 vaccine that we need right now. It may actually come in different brands. Iba-ibang brands po ito, like parang merong Sinovac, merong AstraZeneca, merong Moderna, merong Pfizer, at marami pang iba. But of course, iba-iba man yung brand nito, pero it targets one thing. It serves as a protection. Life skills is a protection because if you are hit with circumstances, you may be able to make a right and sound decision para mapunta ka doon sa tama. Yan din ang ginagawa ng bakuna. You need to be vaccinated for your protection. It's similar to that of a life skills. That's my analogy to this. Bakit po? Kasi we are confronted every day of our experiences that maybe can stress you, that maybe can affect your decision to initiate drugs. Kasi nga merong process yan, merong progression yung paggamit ng drugs. It starts from experimentation. After the experimentation, yung next stage po niyan is occasional use, magiging regular use, and then addiction. We need really to stop the person from initiating to the use of drugs because a lot of people, they initiated the use of drugs thinking that they can control the use of drugs, but they were wrong because as you go along, you're craving for more. Kaya po yung life skills po is empowering the person once again to make the right decision to say no because his future is bigger than the use of these substances. So napakaklaro po ng ating message that we want to share to all of you na kailangan po stop the initiation, delay the initiation, 'di ba? Yun talaga ang ating pinupursige. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng ganitong klase ng platform para at least mas maintindihan po natin ng malalim ano yung importansya nito doon sa usapin natin tungkol sa substance use. Alright? We are confronted not only with experiences but also with different challenges. Iba-iba po yan with different demands in our daily life, different situations of our daily life, and the life skills po is our protection as I have mentioned doon sa mga pagbabago na nai-experience mo because we always say that changes is inevitable because nothing is permanent in this world except change. At yan yung naranasan natin when we were hit by the pandemic po. Alam niyo po ba that I am working currently po as a trainer in one of the laboratory facilities in the country. And base sa aming health risk management assessment program, yung mga clients namin na private company, if I may cite one, of course, I'm not gonna mention the name for confidentiality purposes, out of 100 employees that we tested in one logistic company, believe me or not, 10 from 100 were tested positive. And we are in the midst of the pandemic. Out of 47 LGU barangay workers, 7 from 47 were tested positive. So ito, itinitingnan natin base doon sa aming pag-aaral sa health risk management assessment, nagkaroon ng stress and we actually interview the human resources. What may be the reason why? And it boils down to one thing, these employees were stressed because of the pandemic and they try to initiate, and some of them who usually use drugs or substance has had a trigger. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon ng trigger. So instead of saying no to it because of the trigger, bumalik ulit sila sa paggamit. So ito yung ating binabantayan. Kasi nga, if you don't have the proper learnings on life skills, yung mga experiences mo, yung mga situations mo everyday, yung mga demands mo na nararanasan everyday ng buhay mo, yung mga challenges na nararanasan mo are being cited or called as trigger. And once the triggers are there, and if you are not actually empowered, then the tendency is you will make wrong decision. Lalo na sa pinagdadaanan ng mga adolescents, like say for example, yung mga normal na pinagdadaanan like the physical changes na nagkakaroon ka na ngayon ng pag-iba ng boses, nagkakaroon ngayon ng menstrual period for ladies or for girls, diba? Some of them are stressed and kailangan talaga dito, talagang handang-handa siya nakaharapin yung stress na dala ng physical change, yung stress ng dala ng psychological change, kasi dito bumubuo na sila ng kanilang mga pangarap sa buhay, yung dreams, 'di ba? Dito na unti-unting binubuo kasi when you were younger, you are asked what do you want to become when you grow old. And dito sa stage na to, when you reach your adolescent stage, dito na unti-unting binubuo yung mga pangarap mo. You are joining competition, and what will happen to you once you actually failed in life? Yan yung mga psychological changes na kailangan talaga nating paghandaan if you failed. And a lot right now, especially the adolescents, base their happiness on the number of likers they have on their social media accounts, which is basically wrong. That's the reason why they fake it, because they believe when their friends will see them that they are having this or eating in this restaurant or traveling to these places, diba? And what they do is yung happiness nila ay nakabase doon sa number of likers nila sa social media, and it is so dangerous. And right now, dapat yung mga adolescents po are being fed with the right information on social media, because that can also be dangerous. So ito yung mga psychological change na nararanasan ng isang adolescent when pagtungtong dito sa stage na ito. Aside from that is yung social change, malaking factor sa initiation ng paggamit ng drugs, yung social change. Bakit po? Because of peer preference, because of peer influence. We don't use the word peer pressure kasi walang taong tinutukan ng baril na kapag hindi magda-drugs, at the end of the day, papatayin siya. Using drugs is a product of your own choice. Ulitin ko lang, using drugs is a product of your own choice. Pero sa mga pag-aaral ngayon, diba, sinasabi nila na hindi na daw ito choice. Pero sa akin po, I still believe that the initiation po ito, initiation, okay? The initiation of the use of drugs is a product of your own choice. And having life skills training, and for us provider, having this is allowing the adolescent to educate his or her choices. Ulitin ko lang po, though initiating drugs is a choice, but they should educate their choices. Kasi lamang ang may alam. At kapag lamang ka, i-share mo yan, huwag ka lang manlalamang. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, ganun pala yun, Sir Sadi. Yes. So, life skills, yung importance nito, it serves as a protection. It serves as a vaccine. If we compare it to a COVID-19 case, it serves as a vaccine that will protect you from the experiences, from the situations of daily life, from the demands of the daily life, from the challenges that you are confronted every day, para at least makapag-decide ka ng tama and sound para sa sarili mo. So I hope I am clear on this. All right, yung importance of life skills po among adolescents is it enables the adolescents to develop truth-based self-awareness. Kasi importante po na ma-recognize mo. Self-awareness, it's the proper recognition. Kailangan ma-recognize niyo po yung inyong strength and weaknesses. Diba? Yung strength mo ay ma-nourish mo pa para mas maging matibay pa yung decision making mo, and yung weaknesses mo ay malaman mo para alam mo kung saan yung turning point mo, kung saan yung saturation point mo, kung saan yung nagbibigay sa'yo ng negative stress, para at least hindi na siya umabot doon, nagawan mo na agad ng paraan. That is self-awareness. That's the reason why life skills is important. It calls for truth-based Nagiging truth warrior ka ng sarili mo. And if you can remember sa Miss Philippines contest po during their preliminary, tinanong yung mga contestant po kung to whose eyes they believe they are beautiful. And most of the contestants answered that I am beautiful in my own eyes because I know who I am and what I can do. So ito yung tinuturo ng life skills. You don't have to live with the standards of other people. Live with your own standard. Di ba? Kasi ikaw mismo ang nakakakilala sa sarili mo. Because if you live with the standards of others, of other people, then you will end up pleasing them. Alright? And doon magpi-fail ka. Kaya yung life skills na to, doon tinuturo yung self-esteem, your worth, your value as a person. You feel that you are being respected, that you are valued. Yan yung tinuturo doon sa self-awareness. Naka-classify mo rin kung ano yung strength mo, yung ano yung kahinaan mo. Yan. At the same time, you use this to your advantage. Yung weaknesses mo ay nagagamit mo siya as a turnaround para magamit as opportunities, 'di ba? Not threats. Ulitin ko lang yung weaknesses mo ay magagamit mo as opportunities, not threats. At yung strength mo ay manurish mo pa para magamit mo ito for a sound and right decision. Hindi lang yan, it also establishes healthy relationship, yung social interactions with others, yung promotion of compassion about others. Kasi hindi lang naman tayo nabubuhay para sa sarili natin. We also live for others. Yung the cause of community pantry, yun talaga yung social interaction. We are very much willing to help the community and others. Kaya yung pinakamaganda, especially ngayong pandemya, is yung ating ability to listen. Kaya nga po we have 2 ears because we need to listen more and speak less. The question is, why do you think you have 2 ears and 1 mouth? Because you need to listen more and speak less. Because when you listen to them, you love them. Kasi di ba, pag ginoin mo yung dalawang tenga mo, it forms a heart shape. Kasi sa pakikinig may pag-ibig. Yung life skills is allowing you to listen to people not because you are trying to ready of your rebuttal, because you are trying to listen to them to learn and not to listen to them to argue. Magkaiba yun. So yun yung importansya ng life skills. It's so powerful. And tinuturuan ka rin na magkaroon or mag-create ng responsible decision. And just in case naging wrong decision ito, you are very much willing to be corrected. And that is what you call loving correction. Yeah. Ang galing, no? Yung life skills pala is allowing us to accept correction. Kasi nga, yung loving correction is an opportunity for you. Diba? Para ma-empower ka rin. Kasi diba, life is a never-ending learning process. We are a work in progress. So hindi ibig sabihin nito that adolescents need life skills more than we do. Pero diba, you only stop learning when you are dead. So as long as we live, we continue to learn. And that's how important this life skills training is all about for us life skills provider. Nag-gets nyo po? So tayo mismo, natuturuan din tayo ngayong araw na ito na, oo nga, tama nga si Sir Santi. Kasi pag nagkamali ako ng desisyon ko sa buhay, I am willing to be corrected. I love corrections and I have to make the right turn after it. Di ba po? Kasi nga, you need to suffer the dosage of your own medicine. Ikaw yung nag-decide nun. Pero yung pinaka-importante niyan is you are aware that you made the wrong decision and you are very much willing and you embrace to be corrected. And in the end, you are very much willing to make the right turn. Perfect. Alright? Second, it allows the adolescents to gain complete understanding of themselves through self-assessment and self-reflection. So every day, kailangan may assessment or we have to assess ourselves kung ano na ba tayo. Kaya importante that we have a moment of silence, sit in silence for at least 10 minutes each day. I do that, alright? And that's part of life skills every day. Kahit sa atin pong mga life skills provider, we need to do that. We need to sit in silence for 10 days. We need to assess where are we going, where have we come so far in our lives, because that is good for our self-reflection, and I call that solitude. And the meaning or the spelling of solitude that I want to share with you is not S-O-L, but S-O-U-L. All right, so finding souls, it's really more than the physical. It is actually more on the spirit. It's finding your purpose, your soul purpose in life. At yung sinabi natin kanina is our purpose is for greatness. Talaga, yun yung tinuturo ng life skills. Alright? And then number three, it enables adolescents to communicate with others. This is about conflict resolution. Diba? And at the same time, talagang dito tinuturo natin yung papaano mariresolve yung conflict, that it will not actually cause emotional disturbances and even lead to violence. So talagang peacemaker, peace-loving individual, yung tinuturo ng life skills. Ang galing. Kasi, di ba, yung napakaganda dito is you communicate well with others, you use words that will empower the person, that will encourage, not discourage the person, that will make and not break the person, because our words have the power to bless and curse a person. So, if you are empowered with life skills, so yung ginagamit mong mga salita, you are careful that you are not going to hurt other people's feelings, you are careful that it will not actually lead to emotional mental disturbances, and even that will even your communicate even your words can lead to violence. So napakaganda ng tinuturo ng life skills. Aside from that, it enhances adolescents the ability to control and manage emotions and stress. Di ba dito kasi parang yung mga tutti-frutti kind of stage wherein nagkakaroon ka na ng inspiration, ng love life, you're thinking already of, eto na yung mga ideal ko, kaya nauuso yung hugot, kaibigan mo lang ako, and I'm so stupid to be making the biggest mistakes of falling in love with my best friend. Mga ganong drama-drama, and yung mga love na love mo ng mga K-pop dramas, mga ganon. So, ang tinuturo ng life skills is it allows you to have the ability to control and manage your emotions, that it does not control you. Because you should be the one to control your emotions, not the emotions should be the one to control you. Kaya ito po, iniiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng stress. Diba? So dito, pumapasok doon yung stress management skills, the coping skills, the resiliency skills, the adversity quotient. Yun yung tinuturo ng life skills. Kasi nga, pag hindi natin ito na-manage, pag hindi natin na-control yung mga emotions na to, especially with the adolescents, if it will be left unattended and ignored, it will definitely lead to high-risk behavior. At natatakot ako na ito yung pagmulan ng initiation to gateway drugs. So ano yung mga gateway drugs? Like alcohol, like cigarettes, like vape, na nagiging substitute na to smoking. And also, magiging poly user na sila because they mix different drugs with the others, because hindi na sila kontento doon sa binibigay na reward pleasure sa kanilang brain dahil sa isang droga lang. So they mix different drugs with the others, like umiinom ng alak habang nagsashabu para hindi sila malasing, naninigarilyo habang nagmamariwana para hindi sumakit yung ulo nila. So it enhances yung life skills, it enhances your ability to control and manage emotions na hindi ka ma-stress dahil dito. Kasi pag hindi po ito na-attend, pag ito ay na-ignore at pag tumagal, can be a risk factor. Kaya yung life skills po serves as a protective factor. Kaya sobrang ganda ng life skills. Sorry, I'm really biased to this life skills program. One of my favorite topics talaga in substance use prevention. And at the same time, it enables the adolescents to transform their knowledge, attitude, and values into a concrete and constructive actions. It empowers the person or the adolescents to stand and be firm against the pressure of the environment, against the pressure of his or her friends, against the pressure of being accepted. It is against the pressure of being accepted by the society. All right? Especially that it is good, diba? It is a good factor po in the decision making. Kasi nga, it will definitely affect the future of the person in the future. Ayan. So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito, it boils down na ang pinaka core, all right, nitong life skills na to is for safety and the health of the adolescent. And kahit sa atin, for the safety and health. The reason why we need to be informed about life skills, we need to know about life skills, we need to be trained about life skills, is importante po ito for the health and safety of an individual. And kaya natin ginagawa ito para doon sa health and then sa safety ng individual, especially the adolescents. So we are targeting the kind of model. So may model tayong ginagamit para yung atin pong life skills ay mas lalo pang tumatak. It can be reverberated to our nerves. Mas lalo pa siyang mapagtibay. And we use this 4H model. At ano itong 4H na to, Sir Santi? I am excited. So wag mo na kami masyado pang i-suspense. Alright? I-reveal mo na yan kung ano yung 4H model na yan. So the 4H model po is, of course, 4H, okay? Apat po na letter H po na words, okay? So let's start with the first H, which is health. And we always say this, health is wealth. Pero in my own version po, health is the new wealth. Kasi di ba during a pandemic, sinasabi pa ulit-ulit sa atin that our immune system will definitely fight the virus. Diba? Ibig sabihin, the stronger your immune system is, may panlaban ka. So that's why I believe that health is the new wealth. Alright? Yung pangalawang H po is hands. Yung pangatlong H po is heart. At yung pang-apat po na H ay head. So 4H. Alright? So to target the life skills, kailangan po mag-revolve po siya dito sa 4H, which is composed of health, alright, of hands, of heart, and of head. Dito po sa health, we have the living and the being. Alright? So pag-usapan po natin to. Sir, ano naman yung pinag-discuss mo sa amin about the being and the living, which are all under health? Alright? If we talk about the 4H model, so I'll repeat that. Yung 4H model natin, when we target life skills po, ay health, hands, heart, and then head. And let's study about health. So sa health natin, it is actually divided into two, the being and the living. And when you talk about the being of a person, you are referring to self-esteem. And self-esteem is different than self-confidence. Self-esteem is your self-worth. It's your self-respect. It's actually kaya nauso yung self-love, self-care, because nakakadagdag po ito ng self-esteem, your value, your worth. Kasi pag mataas yung self-esteem mo, mataas din yung confidence level mo. Kaya yung mga estudyante po na nabully, bumababa yung kanilang self-esteem to the point that they are finding an alternative for them to be able to get back on their self-esteem, and one of them is the use of substance. Kaya may mga ibang adolescent, when they are puffing po cigarettes, when they are smoking cigarettes po, they feel that they belong to their friends. They feel that they belong to the society. It actually induces their power of confidence, 'di ba? So doon po yan nanggagaling. So kailangan mabantayan. Kailangan mabantayan natin, kailangan magkaroon ng pag-aaral, matrain yung isang adolescents doon sa life skills para at least hindi na niya kailanganin pa yung support ng alak, sigarilyo at droga. Kaya yung campaign na ito ay no to sad, no to smoking, alcohol, and drugs, but yes to happy life. Again, no to smoking, alcohol, and drugs, but yes to happy life. But we say yes to happy life because we believe that life skills will make you happy. Yun lang yun. Alright? So the being of a person, di ba, natataas, napapataas na yung self-esteem. And once your self-esteem is high, your confidence level is also high. Kapag mataas ang value mo sa sarili mo, yung worth mo sa sarili mo, your self-confidence will also be higher. So yun po yung kaniyang result. Kaya pag mataas na yung iyong self-esteem, pag mataas ang iyong confidence level, you can assertively say no to the use of substance. That's the power. Ayan. And Sir Santi, ano naman tong self-responsibility? So lagi nating sinasabi na using substance, initiating substance is a product of your own choice. You have a responsibility to yourself. You have a power to shape your future. And shaping your future means you have to make sound and good decision in life. That is self-responsibility. We kept on mentioning about suffering the dosage of your own medicine. 'Diba? Ikaw yung may responsibilidad sa sarili mo. Alright? So that is self-responsibility when you are trained with life skills. Tinuturo dyan yung well-being mo through having that responsibility to yourself. It also teaches you yung character development, yung character building. Ang ganda lang nito. And it starts from a habit. A habit become an act. An act becomes a habit becomes an attitude becomes a character becomes a values, it can become a system as well. At pag nandyan na yan, hindi na yan siya mawawala. Kaya there are people po, 'di ba? There are adolescents na kahit oferan mo pa ng alak, ng sigarilyo, ng droga, they would say no. They would say no because it was actually a product of the character development, of the built-in character in them na sinabi ng kanilang mga magulang. That's the reason why yung parenting skills is so powerful of building the right character for the kid to say no to the initiation of the use of substance or drugs. Ayan. So, ang laki ng factor nito ng life skills into shaping the future of a kid by giving the kid the right training para ma-improve or ma-develop yung kanyang character. Para at least pag dumating yung pagkakataon na meron siyang kaibigan na nag-offer sa kanya, he has the guts, he has the power to say no. Alright? And managing feelings. So, importante dito sa health, yung pagmamanage din ng feelings natin, we should be able to manage it well, that we don't outburst. Especially these days, remember ninyo, nag-viral po yung video, if you can still remember the Amalayer, but I would like to congratulate that lady from Amalayer po na nag-viral many years ago. Kung maaalala nyo pa po, sa LRT yun nangyari, and then people have their own story of what happened. Netizens have reactions to it. They have a version of their story na wala naman sila doon. But turning back the circumstances from that girl right now, she is a pastora. I saw her revelation. It was so inspiring, 'di ba? Pero ang tinuturo lang sa atin dito is we should be able to manage our feelings, that we should not outburst. Kaya nga importante yung taking a pause, yung paghinga ng malalim, 'di ba? Kapag galit na galit ka na, you have to take a deep breath. Alright, inhale and exhale. Kapag nalulungkot ka, kapag feeling mo down na down ka na, if you are envious because other people are already on the top, at ikaw ay parang ang bagal-bagal lang ng success mo at napatingin ka sa kabila, at parang feeling mo na uunahan ka na and you consider yourself a failure, it is not. It doesn't mean that others have been on the top, have climbed on the top, you're already a failure. It does mean that you have a unique story. Di ba po? Ibig sabihin, kailangan i-enjoy mo yung journey na yon. That's how to manage the feelings. Yun yung tinuturo ng life skills. It's actually looking at the things in different perspective. Looking at the things in different perspective. When you are rejected, you don't see that as a rejection. You see that as a redirection to something better. Kasi may mas magandang mangyayari sa'yo. That's how life skills is teaching you to manage your feelings. Because a little outburst of your feeling and somebody has taken the video and you are going to become viral in a wrong way. And yun yung iniiwasan natin, na mag-viral ka in a wrong way and it will definitely erupt, 'di ba? At magkakaroon ka ng mas malaki pang problema. So, itong life skills, tinuturuan tayong i-manage yung ating feelings po para mas it's actually will give us it will lead us to our favor. Ayan, and self-discipline. Ito kailangan natin sa mga panahon ngayon. If you can remember, nakalagay sa signboard po sa EDSA, bawal tumawid, nakamamatay. After a year, bago yung signboard, bawal tumawid, may namatay na dito. And after a year, nagbago ulit yung signboard, bawal tumawid, maraming namatay na dito, pero marami pa rin ang tumatawid. Diba? So, ibig sabihin yung discipline, tinuturo sa life skills. Yung kalat mo, itatapon mo. You have to be disciplined in a small way so that you will become disciplined in a bigger perspective. Kagaya yung pag-aayos ng higaan mo, how can you become disciplined in a bigger perspective when you cannot even be disciplined in your bed? 'Di ba? So mga ganun. So tinuturo ito. Yun yung importansya ng life skills. So imagine, 'di ba, disiplinado ka sa pag-aayos ng iyong higaan. So ibig sabihin, mas magiging disiplinado ka pa sa mga desisyon na gagawin mo sa buhay mo. Yan yung self-discipline. Yan yung turo ng life skills if we talk about health and the being of a person. Ayan. Alright? So, living naman tayo of a person, dito tinuturo yung healthy lifestyle choices. Dito yung lifestyle choices mo, like you fruitify your breakfast, you vegify your lunch, you organify your dinner, you start from there. You eat healthy, 'di ba? You exercise regularly, 'di ba? Yun yung tinuturo, yung healthy lifestyle choices, 'di ba? I don't know kung sino dito yung nagkakape, pero dati di ka naman nagkakape. Nakita mo yung kaibigan mo nagkape na inggit ka, you tried 1 cup. And then nagustuhan ng katawan mo yung epekto ng kape sa'yo. And then after 1 cup of coffee, naging 2, naging 3, naging 4, naging 5, until such time that you're already addicted to drinking coffee. Kaya ang dami mo ng caffeine intake. 'Di ba? And you'd rather drink coffee but not eat your breakfast, and you cannot eat your breakfast without coffee. Kaya tinuturo sa atin dito sa life skills na to yung healthy lifestyle choices and saying no to smoking, alcohol, and drugs, and saying yes to a happy life. And aside from that, yung stress management, yung coping skills, yung ability natin to soar above the storm, ang galing, soaring above the storm, yung ability natin to look at the stressful circumstances in a different perspective. Like in my case, I love stress. I just don't know with you, but I love stress because I believe life without stress is boring, and a boring life is also stressful. Kaya pag nakaka-stress yung boss mo, nakaka-stress yung kasama mo, sabihin mo ka sa kanya, salamat sa nakaka-stress mong pagmumukha. Because it brings out the best in your potential. That's how I see stress. I'm seeing stress in a different perspective. So instead of having that negativity and the stress, I see that as an opportunity to better myself. Yan na yung naituro sa akin ng life skills. And I hope one day you can also say the same. But I'm not rushing you because iba-iba naman tayo and I cannot invalidate you. I can only listen to you. Pero at the point of my life right now, I see stress as love. I see stress as loving it because life without stress is boring, and a boring life is also stressful. That's how I manage it. Managing stress is not the absence of stress. It is actually teaching your mind and body how to cope with the different stressors that you encounter. And yung disease prevention, we always believe that prevention is better than cure. I was asked a lot of times, tinatanong talaga ako, if prevention and substance use is working, how come that according to the National Survey of the Dangerous Drugs Board, there are still 1.67 million drug users today? And I answered, if we do not do prevention, maybe the 1.67 million is not the number. It can be higher than that. And it is evidence-based to say that prevention really works for substance use. Di ba po? Because we always say this, prevention is better than cure, and prevention is the most effective way, cost-effective way of fighting drug use. Ayan. Alright? And of course, yung personal safety. At the end of the day, sinasabi ko kanina, yung purpose natin is of course, unang-una, for our health and for our safety. Yung our priority, lagi nating naririnig, your safety is our priority. Through life skills, your safety is our priority. Alright? And hence naman kasi, I am just given 1 hour, pero parang aabot yata ako ng 3 hours. Just stay there and enjoy. Alright? Hence naman tayo. So, eto namang hence natin, yung una dito is giving, yung community service volunteering, the act of volunteerism. Like tayo, I'm sorry to say this, pero tayo, we always ask, what is it for me? What can I get from it? Kaya yung volunteering, hindi siya ganun ka-popular in our country. Kasi nga, lagi nating iniisip, anong makukuha ko dyan, anong mahihita ko dyan. Pag wala naman, iniiwanan mo lang ng ganyan. I personally can say that yung volunteerism in the country is the most rewarding job of all because you are not being paid. It's free. 'Di ba? Abonado ka pa. Pero once yung volunteerism attitude talaga mangibabaw sa atin, then this country will be a better country to live. Kaya importante yung spirit of volunteerism of not asking po what can I get from it, but asking what can I contribute to the society? Because that is where leadership will also happen. And leadership, if you can remember po, yung South African na Miss Universe, she was asked, diba, what can you teach the young generation today? And Miss South Africa answered, I think yung pinakamagandang ituro sa mga kabataan ngayon is leadership, because this is something that will lack the world today, not just in our country, but the world. And yung leadership should start from yourself. You need to empower your potentials. You need to cement your opportunities. Sa'yo dapat manggagaling yan. Pag pinanganak kang mahirap, hindi mo kasalanan. Hindi ka pwedeng, di ba, mamili ng magulang mo. Pero kapag namatay kang mahirap, I think somewhere along the way, aside from the lack of opportunities, meron na sigurong pagkakamali yun kasi hindi ka gumawa ng magandang bagay para mabago ang kwento ng buhay mo. Alright? And that leadership is also teaching us how to become a responsible citizen. Diba? Ang ganda. I have to be honest with you guys that I was offered to work in other countries, but I chose to work in my own country kasi dapat ang makinabang ng talent ko ay ang kapwa ko Pilipino kagaya niyo. I am not saying that those people who went to other countries po are not as the same passionate as I am. Maybe they have their own reasons, but I'm just speaking in my own circumstance po that I was offered to work in other countries but I chose to work in my own country kasi dapat yung makinabang ng talent ko ay ang kapwa ko Pilipino, and that's giving, because giving is actually a show of caring to the people in need. Ayan. And working naman, ano naman tong working na to, Sir Santi? Ito naman yung contributions mo to group effort. We always believe to team. Ano yung team? Together, everyone achieves more. You are a kind of person that you'd rather be we than I, me, myself, or me, myself, and I. Diba? So, ang ganda pakinggan. We, diba? For together we stand, divided we fall, together we climb to the top of the world. Diba? Ang ganda pa ganun. Di ba, nasama-sama tayo, and marketable skills. Ibig sabihin, you are not just living in your comfort zone, but you're nourishing and going out to your courage zone because you have the skills, and that is marketable, and that is good. But you cannot claim that you are better than I do or I am better than you do, because everybody has this, the individual uniqueness of that skill na binibigyan sa ng skill mismo na magagamit para doon sa contributions to the group effort, and that is a marketable skill that can help build a nation. Ayan. And teamwork, importante yung teamwork. We collaborate, we network. Actually, the term is not network, but we networld. Ayan, so may bago na naman tayong term. We networld, diba? So parang sa mundo na bilog, we work as a team, we networld. Not we network, but we networld. Networlding ang tawag, not networking. So we have to change that a little bit. And yung self-motivation, pag nawala ang motivation sa buhay natin, lahat yan mag-shutter. Diba? Yung mga pieces na nawala, so you will never pick that up and actually turn that into its proper piece kapag nawala yung motivation. We need to be motivated every day. We need to answer every day para kanino ka bumabangon sa umaga. And if you have found that drive, kung para kanino ka bumabangon sa umaga, that is a self-motivation. Kaya lagi-lagi mong tatandaan, pag tinatamad kang pumasok, lagi mong tatandaan, hindi ka mayaman at marami kang utang na binabayaran. So, stand up, diba? Get up on your bed, dress up, and show the world what you've got, because you can do even more. All right. And when we say the letter H in substance use prevention is caring. All right. Pag sa caring naman, it is actually nurturing relationship. Targeting skills is nurturing relationship. Our social interaction with each other. Kasi 'di ba, yung friend mo na nangangailangan ng advice mo, 'di ba? Yung friend mo na kailangan mong makausap, and you are there, 'di ba? This is nurturing relationship. Nurturing relationship does not only mean your friends, but it does mean your family, because father and mother, I love you. It also means your kapamilya, kapuso, kapatid, the whole round po yan. That's nurturing relationship, because in the world, when you die, you will not be able to bring your richness to heaven. Like I am talking about the material wealth, but you can only bring what's inside your heart, and that is relationship. You will be judged in the manner how you are good in building strong relationship with others, and of course sharing your talents, sharing your time, sharing your potentials, sharing your money also, diba? And sharing is also a way of empathizing. So empathizing with the people in their need, diba? Napakaganda yung empathy. Yun yung kailangan natin ngayon, yung compassion towards others, putting ourself in the shoes of others. How would you feel pag ikaw yung nakakaranas nun? And yung concern for others, talagang dito natin napatunayan sa pandemya na ito yung concern natin sa ibang tao. Although yung una, it was really stigmatic. Marami po talaga yung nang una ha, I'm sorry to say this, but the term is medyo nandire doon sa mga positive po sa COVID-19. 'Di ba? Nagkaroon po ng discrimination, pero at the end, meron ako nababasa ng mga thread ng conversation that hindi dapat tayo mandiri, we should not discriminate them, we should not actually put a stigma on it, but with rather understand, support, cheer for them. Ganyan din po sa substance use, yung mga gumamit ng drugs, we should not judge them, we should not discriminate them, but we should actually cheer them for them to change their lives. Kaya nga po yung even the term, we don't use the term addict, we use the term with people who use drugs. Piwoods ang tawag. We don't say addict, di ba? We say people who use drugs or piwoods or with substance use disorder. So dito pa lang, pinapakita na agad natin yung concern natin sa tao na naging biktima sa paggamit ng droga, and accepting differences of each other. Alam nyo, if this country is tolerant of other people's differences and other people's mistakes as well, and we are very much willing to listen to them, where are they coming from, I think this country will be a better country to live. Ayan. But I'm saying this as God did not make of making everyone here listening to me right now as a Filipino. I love to be a Filipino, pero sana yung life skills kasi, yung kagandahan nito is tinuturo yung accepting differences, accepting the way we cope, accepting the way we react to things. Iba-iba naman kasi tayo eh. So kapag talaga sana na-i-embrace natin yung bawat isa, yung differences ng bawat isa, mas magiging maganda. Ayan. And yung relating po, sa relating naman po na part ng ating puso is yung conflict resolution. Imagine kung peace not war, di ba? If we agree to disagree, and the best way to avoid an argument is to stay away from, the best way to win an argument is to stay away from it, di ba? Is to avoid it, di ba? So yung conflict resolution, yan din yung tinuturo ng life skills, yung social skills. That's the way we interact with others. Yung iba po, na especially yung mga introvert, hindi sila masyadong nakikipag-socialize sa iba kasi natatakot sila, 'di ba? Ito dapat mas matutukan natin sila, maturuan natin sila through life skills, in-empower natin yung kanilang social interactions, yung cooperation with each other, 'di ba? Yung we work, we unite as a country, as a nation, 'di ba? As a group, as a DepEd, ganyan. Kasi 'di ba sinabi kanina ni Deputy Director natin, si Yusek Earl, sinabi niya na yung pinaka-importante dito is tayo ay nagtutulungan, tayo ay consistent. Yung talaga yung pinaka-importante, yung consistency natin towards advocating po the substance use prevention. Ayan. And yung head, yung managing natin, yung resiliency, yung adversity quotient, tayong mga Pinoy, lagi tayong nasasabihan na ano pa ba yung hindi natin kakayanin as a nation, as a citizen, kung lahat tayo ay binahana, pero makikita mo yung mga bata, nakasayaw pa rin, di ba? Ang saya-saya pa rin nila, even doon sa ating miserable or sa ating miserable condition, we still manage to smile, di ba? Nakikita natin yan, and that is a good sign na tinuturo din sa atin ng life skills, 'di ba? Yung managing, yung pagiging resilient natin. Keeping records is also good for the archives, doon sa ating mga gathering of evidence. So importante rin ito, wise use of resources. Doon naman sa financial resources, human resources, paano natin sila nagagamit, yung potential ng ating human resources, paano natin na i-delegate yung mga kailangan nilang gawin. And at the same time, yung planning and organizing, how can we do it? Of course, through planning, for us to have a systematic approach, kailangan planado, kailangan it is well organized. Sa sarili natin, how are we organizing ourselves? Like in my case, I do my planner, I have a diary, I have a to-do list, I categorize that as an urgent, diba? Urgent, diba? Ito urgent, ito kailangan priority na agad ito kasi urgent siya. Not all urgent are priorities and not all priorities are urgent. So kailangan may mga ganun tayo when we actually organize ourselves. Yung goal setting natin, ano yung mga goal natin for the next 5 years? What is our goal? What is our career goal? What is our family goal? Ayan. So, doon ang tinuturo ng life skills. Very broad. Ang ganda. Life skills is not just relating to substance use prevention, although it's so powerful to substance use prevention, pero this is a practical application sa atin, sa buhay natin. Kaya I am really very excited of this topic when it was introduced to me, alright, by DepEd. Okay? And of course, yung thinking natin, yung service learning natin, yung critical thinking na mamaya po I am going to discuss that deeply, yung problem-solving skills natin, yung decision-making skills natin, and yung learning to learn and make the right turn if we have done wrong decisions in our lives. So part ito ng cognitive skills na tinuturo ng life skills, yung ating thinking capacity. But more than our thinking capacity is also our emotional capacity. Our intelligence is dead if there is no character. And that is why life skills is good, because there is no single skill na kailangang ituro because it actually collaborates with the different skills. Ayan. So ano tong 12 basic life skills that the adolescent should develop, that we as a provider of life skills should understand? Alright, and should be trained. Unang-una, yung self-awareness. It is important po that you recognize, that you understand yourself, yung weaknesses mo, yung strength mo, para alam mo na pag merong mag-offer sa'yo ng substance, you have to say no to it. You know your strength, you wouldn't really go into something that is a trap. Ikaw na yung iiwas mismo kasi majority from those who initiated the use of drugs, sila mismo yung lumapit doon sa pagtikim. 'Di ba? So kung alam mo na ikaw ay mahina sa bagay na ito, you know yourself, you are aware, na-assess mo na yung sarili mo, you understand your weaknesses and strength, hindi na ikaw yung lalapit. Kasi majority from those who initiated the use of drugs, sila yung lumapit doon sa temptation. Ayan. So ito po yung ability rin to have a clear picture of one's strength and weaknesses, the values and attitude towards life, and the needs and desires and aspiration that you still need in life. This is also your ability to accept yourself of who you are. Diba? Para tanggapin mo yung kahinaan mo, para tanggapin mo yung kalakasan mo, no matter how imperfect it may be. Ayan. So kahit hindi ka perfecto, tanggap mo. Ito yung kahinaan mo, tanggap mo. And you would be able to negotiate. Ayun. So, yung negotiating skill is very important po of saying no. And the self-awareness po, if I may say, is a prerequisite of the other life skills in order to effectively handle stress and emotions. So self-awareness is the first step. It is a prerequisite to other life skills that I am going to discuss today. So we have 12. The first is self-awareness. It is a requisite. Ito yung nauuna sa 12. So I'll be discussing about the 11 more, pero ito, yung una, yung self-awareness, yung knowledge of understanding of oneself, your ability to have the clear picture of your strength, of your weaknesses, of your values and attitudes towards life, of your needs and desires and aspirations that you need in life, and the ability to accept who you are, the ability to accept no matter how imperfect you are. This is a requisite of the 11 other life skills that we will be discussing today. Pero yung pangalawa po, as I was discussing also doon kanina sa ating 4H model, all right, is the empathy. This is the process of understanding and caring about the needs of others, about the desire of others, about the sensitivity of other people. And when we empathize with others, when we feel compassionate about how others are going through, if we put our shoes in their shoes, yun yung tinuturo ng life skills talaga na is related to emotional quotient, di ba? That is related to emotional quotient that is the ability to see things from the perspective of others. What if ikaw yung sinabihan nito? What if ikaw yung ginawan nito? Ano yung mararamdaman mo? Ano ang maiisip mo? 'Di ba? So it enables an individual to have a clear picture of how other people see things in their perspective and not in your own perspective, kasi bias ka rin minsan sa personal perspective mo against other people's perspective. And with empathy or compassion, people readily share or express their needs, desires, feelings, and thoughts. Di ba may mga kaibigan ka that they can easily confide their feelings kasi nararamdaman nila yung genuineness of how you empathize with them. At pag naramdaman ito ng ibang tao, mas madali yung loob, palagay yung loob nila sa'yo na mag-share, that even their deep secrets ay nagiging MMK na at nasasabi nila sa'yo. Like, I think in our workplaces, meron ka talaga mga kaibigan na go-to person mo na talagang nasasabihan mo kung ano yung may nangyayari sa'yo, yung development ng love life mo. You share stories of victories, yung mga little victories you share with that person. Diba? So doon yun kasi naramdaman niya that during that, yung empathy mo, naramdaman niya yung totoo, yung genuineness, yung pagkatao mo. Diba? Yun yung pinaka tinuturo ng life skills din. And yung effective communication, the exchange of thoughts and feelings, yung kaninang verbal, yung non-verbal. Verbal are the words that we say. Non-verbal is the product of our expression, of our emotion. Yung ramdam na ramdam mo talaga siya. Ayun. Yung sinasabi niya, ramdam na ramdam mo, na dalang-dala ka, pati yung kanyang facial expression. It's not being an actor or an actress, pero yung verbal is really relating to the non-verbal communication. And even yung paraverbal po is the manner you say it. Diba? Importante rin po yan kasi diba po, may mga ganun-ganun po. So, diba? Po ang ginamit, pero the manner he says it or she says it, nag-iba, yung tone niya, yung tonality is also different and it means different as well. So it entails openness and readiness to share one's ideas. As I've mentioned earlier, you listen not to argue, but you listen to understand and learn from the person. So you break the barrier that the person feels. You break the fear that the person feels. You break the fear that he or the fear of being judged. Diba? Talagang binabasag mo yon na kapag nag-share ka, hindi ka ma-judge, hindi ka mahusgahan. Kaya ito talaga, para doon sa mga PWODs sa person who use drugs, kaya hindi sila nakakapag-confide. Kaya walang person who use drugs po na umami na talagang gumagamit sila. They are in the denial. Ask me why? Because of the stigma attached to it. Diba? Because of the discrimination attached to it. So they fear. And that not only about the substance use, but also the mental health issue. People are afraid to share it to other people because they're afraid na i-chismis ito, that that na ma-judge sila, na sila ay may pinagdadaanan na ganito. So kaya hindi sila nakakapag-share. So ito parte rin yung effective communication, the channeling, papaano mo makukuha din yung loob nila. Nandun din yan sa communication feedback eh. And effective communication is essential to building healthy interpersonal relationship. Yung interpersonal is the social interaction relationship. It allows people to know the thoughts and feelings of others, consequently to understand and be understood. Much as you wanted to be much as you wanted to be understood, yung ibang mga tao din gusto din nilang maunawaan ka para mas maintindihan ka rin nila. So ito po yung so ito po ang pinakamaganda po kasi yung effective communication, it allows, diba, the people to know the thoughts, the feelings, kung anong nararamdaman mo genuinely, diba, para at least like say for example, yung assertive way of saying no if somebody offers you to try, alam mo, alcohol or cigarettes, di ba? So talaga na i-channel mo effectively kung ano yung gusto mong message na iparating sa kanya without hurting the feelings of that person. That's effective communication. Effective communication po is the exchange of thoughts and feelings for both verbal, the words that you use, the non-verbal, meaning the expression and the manner you say it, or paraverbal way. Ayan. So, ang ibig sabihin niya, dalawa lang po, to understand and be understood. Understand, ikaw intindihin mo sila, and be understood by them. Sila maintindihan ka. Ayan. Interpersonal relationship is the ability to relate. Kaya minsan, nakakapag-confide ka when you can relate. Kaya I'm sorry, but I just have to bring this out. Normally, pag mga adolescents po, it's good yung peer-to-peer approach na yung nagsasalita. Ayan, I'm not gonna carry my own chair ha. Pero yung sa akin, yung interpersonal relationship is also a way of communicating it, di ba? Yung effective communication sa kanina, you use the language also that is relatable to the millennials or to the Gen Z, diba? You use also the platform that the Gen Z or the millennials can relate to you. That's also interpersonal relationship. When I do my lecture po, it's very relatable because I do different approaches. Like, I spoken poetry, yan. So, yun yung mga approach natin. At the same time, hugot, di ba? So, nakaka-relate sila. Mas naiintindihan nila ito. And tayo as a life skills provider, we should be able to be dapat relatable tayo. Ayun, yun na yung gusto ko. Dapat yung methodologies natin are also creative. It can, yung parang nakaka-relate sila na pag nakita nila ito is they will enjoy, they will learn at the same time. Kasi yung span, diba? The span of learning nitong mga adolescents na ito ay hindi, diba? Mabilis lang yan. Pag boring na, ayaw na nila. At makikita mo talaga sa kanilang mga pagmumuka. Ayan. So, interpersonal relationship undergo changes, especially as one goes through the adolescent stage. During the adolescence, parents start losing some of their influence on their adolescent children. Kasi nga, yung barkada na lagi ang nakakasama, awkward na kapag kinikis ng mama, ganun. So, this is where the friends become powerful, that parents is losing their influence to their children. Ayan, dito sa adolescent stage na ito. Kaya talagang ang ganda kasi yung life skills na ituturo sa atin ano ba yung mga approach natin? Ano ba yung strategy natin? And Sir Santi is telling you right now that we should also change our strategy when we communicate with them, the way we relate to them, diba? Kaya effective po talaga din yung mga teachers na gumagamit ng ibang platform like K-pop, they related also. Yung building of relationship, na nakaka-relate din yung teacher dun sa mga kwento-kwento minsan ng mga estudyante about K-pop, of SB19, of K-drama. I've heard about stories na yung parents hindi siya makarelate at first sa pinapanood ng anak niya na K-drama. I think this is summer in Mindanao when I did also substance use prevention. And then it ends up na yung nanay na, yung naging addicted sa K-drama dahil sa pagsabay niya sa anak niyang manood nito. But it's some kind of good kasi para at least naiintindihan niya rin where her child is coming from. Yeah. So tayo din as life skills provider, we should be very innovative in our approach. Ability to manage emotions. Ito din yung part ng life skills talaga na naituturo, alright, doon sa adolescents or sa atin. Usually, yung negative emotions that may be brought about by a failed relationship or a friction with a parent. Kaya nga po, yung mga risk factor like yung single parent, dysfunctional homes, ito yung mga risk factor And once the risk factor is higher than the protective factor, then the initiation of drugs is also higher. High risk po sila But once the protective factor is higher than the risk factor, hindi po yan titikim. So kahit po doon sa mga absentee parent, pero napapangalagaan pa rin natin, we have provided pa rin in terms of emotions, natuturuan pa rin natin sila, that we explain it to them why we have to work abroad. Diba? Bakit nangyari ito? Para pag mas naintindihan nila, diba? Doon na nila, they have the ability to manage the emotions just in case they feel that they needed a father figure, a mother figure as the case may be. Diba? Ganun. So na-manage na nila ito. Super ganda nitong life skills training. Alright, this is the ability of an individual to rise above the confusion brought about by emotions and feelings kasi dito na nagsa-start yung pumapasok na sila into relationship at kapag hindi naging okay yung relationship, nandoon na pumapasok na ayoko nang magmahal pero 'di ba sabi nga ng Jollibee, huwag mong susukuan ang pag-ibig. Ayon. So doon ma-manage ng tama yung kanilang feelings kasi lagi kong sinasabi that they have to invest first in themselves kasi pag okay na sila, their career is okay, they're okay in terms of physical, emotional, mental, love life will chase after them, not them chasing after their love lives kasi hindi sila pang option, pang best choice sila. And if you're listening to me right now, ma'am and sir, hindi ka pang option, pang best choice ka. So this is also for you. All right? So it is the ability to maintain self-control and rationality despite the psychological problem caused by emotional changes and stress. And as adolescents begin to relate with people other than their family, they become more vulnerable to emotional stress because of the social pressure, because of the pressure of the social media, because of the pressure of some friends, because of the pressure of their plans, of their goals, of the what they want in life, and of course of their family. So eto po, kailangan talaga yung life skills na ito para just in case they will be hit with these situations in life, they should be able to manage it well. All right, when this happens po, I want to teach po our life skills provider. Okay, pwede nating sabihin sa kanila, do not blow things out of proportion. All right, kasi minsan masyado nilang siniseryoso yung mga bagay-bagay. So pwede natin silang advice na do not blow things out of proportion. Kailangan makita nila yung silver lining, what it happens that way. Kailangan mas mag-guide natin sila, mas maipaliwanag natin sila, maituro natin sila. If our provider can cite some experiences that had happened to them, it is powerful. Mas okay po kasi yun eh. Diba? That experiential learning coming from the provider of life skills. And pwede natin i-advise na try not to go over your emotional problem time and again in your mind. Huwag paulit-ulit. Diba pag tayo ay nakakarinig ng jokes, 'di ba? Pag paulit-ulit na natin itong naririnig, nawawala na yung ating pagkatawa or yung ating nawawala na yung humor nito. 'Di ba? Ganun din naman yung hurt, 'di ba? Pag paulit-ulit na ito, 'di ba? So dapat nagdi-diminish na dito yung sakit. And lagi nating ipapaunawa that the hardest part of pain is it is demanded to be felt. Ayan, the hardest part of pain is it is demanded to be felt. But your purpose is not to become broken-hearted for the rest of your life. Your purpose is to finish strong. Ayan. Pwede rin nating sabihin na try to be reasonable to yourself. Do not be hard to yourself. Learn to accept that bad feelings are occasionally unavoidable. Kaya yung tanong po ni Boy Abunda nag-viral po sa Binibining Pilipinas. Kung maalala niyo pa po, few months ago, ang tanong ni Boy Abunda, when is it okay not to be okay? And when is it not okay not to be okay? And we need to process it, especially para sa mga adolescents. It is always okay not to be okay. But there should be an expiration because once it prolonged, diba, that is the time that it is not okay not to be okay. When you did your thing, diba, when you did your best, diba, at hindi ka pa rin okay, despite dun sa nagawa mo, that is the time that it is not okay not to be okay. Again, all right, allow me to address this. It is always okay not to be okay, but there should be an expiration. Okay? Yes, relax. Use your deep breath. When you inhale all the blessings in the world. Laging ituro natin yan. Pag nag-inhale ka mo kayo, you have to inhale all the blessings in the world. When you exhale all the negative things. So when you inhale all the negative, inhale all the positive things. When you exhale, kailangan ibuga mo talaga yun. Hindi po ako makasigaw ng malakas kasi I'm in the office. Ayan. So, dapat malakas po yan. And you should shout out to the universe. Huwag mong isa-shout yan sa kasama mo rin sa bahay o sa bata. Kaya pag sinagawan mo yung bata, nag-a-answer siya ulit sa'yo eh. Kasi nga, pinasa mo yung negative energy sa kanya. Pag nag-aaway kayong mag-asawa at nagsisigawan kayo, it ends up na magsigawan kayo because you are transferring the same energy of anger. Kaya papasa-pasa yan. Kaya pag ikaw ay nagre-release, kailangan mag-release ka sa universe because the universe will transform that into a positive energy. Ayan. And then learn, all right, assess how grief, loss, and anger make you feel and which events trigger those feelings so you can prepare for this. So, importante po na ano ba yung nagpapastress sa'yo para if the time comes before it becomes a negative kind of stress, ma-address na siya properly. So, you assess how you grieve, diba? Kapag ikaw ay nawalan, especially yung ating mga COVID-19 family members na, COVID-19 po, mga family members na nawalan, diba? Dahil sa COVID-19, diba? Mahirap yun sa kanila. Yung mga ngayon nakaranas po ng pagkamatay ng kaibigan, kapatid, kakilala, mahal sa buhay, diba? So, kailangan din natin itong matutunan. Iga-guide natin sila. Sometimes, you don't need to say a word. You just have to be there. Their presence, yun yung biggest learning eh, your presence talaga. Kasi your presence is giving your time, and when you give your time, it's like giving something that you do not get back. So that is so powerful because you're giving a portion of your life when you give your time to others. Exercise. Importante yung exercise, yung aerobic activity. Go to Zumba. It does not mean that we are locked down. You have to be idle na wala kang gagawin. Kasi kapag ikaw ay nag-exercise, when you go to the gym, when you hit po the bakal, it lowers your level of stress chemicals and allow you to cope better with negative emotions. So nakakatulong siya. And of course, let go of the past. Your past does not define who you are of your present because your present must be bigger than your past mistakes. So do not dwell on the past. All right? Do not either worry about your future because your future is a mystery nobody knows. Just enjoy the present moment because the present is a gift. That's why it's called present. And sinasabi nila, let go and let God. Allow me to change that. Not let go and let God. Let God and keep going. Yan na po yung bago ngayon. Ulitin natin na not let go and let God and keep going. Ayan. So providing you new ideas. An ability to cope with stress. Yeah, the ability to shorten the length of time when encounters any demand, like the force or the pressure or the strain. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng stress is when the pressure is bigger than or greater than a resource. Ibig sabihin po, the stress happens when the pressure is greater than a resource. And stress is a combination of stressor and stress response. So pag sinabi mong stressor, that is a condition that you are in. And the stress response is kapag ikaw na sumasakit ang ulo, hindi na makatulog sa gabi. So kapag ikaw confronted with a negative situation at okay ka pa, it does mean po na hindi pa siya stress. Stressor lang po yun. And it's but normal kasi we are confronted with hundreds of stressors every day. But it is how our body and mind would respond to the stressor that it becomes stress. So pag wala ka pang sakit ng ulo, nakakatulog ka pa sa gabi, hindi pa yan stress. Kayang-kaya mo pa yan. Ayan. And stress is experienced by everyone who is living. Kapag buhay ka, syempre stress ka. Working and breathing. And I just want to reiterate this. You are breathing right now while other people are grasping for their breath through the use of oxygen because they are intubated. How lucky you are. How blessed you are. That's the right term. How blessed you are. So this is the ability to cope with stress. And ito rin tinuturo natin sa mga young people or sa mga adolescents when they cope. Halimbawa, the pressure because of their friends, of the social, diba, of what the society is telling them. Itong pinakamaganda para at least hindi na sila mag-resort into vices. And then kayang-kaya na nilang i-manage kapag sila po ay na-confront nito. So ano yung mga stress ng mga adolescents? Of course, I have a strategy. So acronym po ito. So adolescents are exposed to various stressors. And of course, I'm going to name the stress as an acronym. Ano yung mga stressors sa kanila? Yung school work and demands. My goodness, the shift actually from the face-to-face approach of doing it through modular to to virtual, 'di ba? Yung online class, 'di ba? Tapos mahina pa yung virtual, mahina pa yung connectivity mo or your bandwidth. So talagang it's really eating them. So ito yung sa mga kabataan, also for teachers. Imagine you need to print a lot of modules, 'di ba? Imagine you have also to shift from the face-to-face that you usually do into an online, 'di ba? At hindi mo alam kung sila ba ay nakikinig talaga sa iyo o hindi. O talagang are they preoccupied while listening to you? You don't know. So ito rin yung school work and demands and of course the shift of the kind of platform. Yung mga threats sa kanila, especially bullying at school, bullying online, bullying through social media. Kaya I also teach yung internet space, diba? And so how to be a responsible social media user and of course yung internet space, how to properly use it as well. And of course yung relationships nila kasi yung mga adolescents nandito na sa stage ng kanilang tutti-frutti kind of mga, diba? Nagkakaroon na sila ng crushes. Hindi lang crushes but they also want to think about how to be in a relationship, mga ganon-ganon na. And not only relationships na romantic, but also yung family relationship, yung environment na kanilang ginagalawan, including yung kanilang, the choice of their friends, yung kanilang schedule, alright, yung kanilang klase, and the stigma or the acceptability, diba? Yung social you wanted to be you wanted to be accepted pero you are not accepted. So kaya naghahanap ka ng mga kaibigan na to the point na tatanggap sa and this is really very threatening kasi baka mamaya yung mahanap mong kaibigan are those, I am not saying na ganun na talaga sila, but yung bad influence is, if I may use that term, 'di ba? So ito yung mga stress na adolescents are confronted every day. So it is important that adolescents learn how to respond through the life skills na tayo din po ang nagbibigay sa kanila. We are the provider, but there are simple ways. All right? They should aim. This is an acronym once again para matandaan niyo. So kanina, yung stress, all right? Ano-ano yon? Yung schoolwork, threats, relationship, environment, schedule, and stigma. And there are simple ways they should aim to rise above the stressful situation, such as, unang-una po, we have to assess current stressor. Alright? I-assess natin yung current stressors. Kaya yung AIM AIM. So that is an acronym. A, assess current stressors. Ask them to generate a list of situation. Tayo na to. I'm talking to us as a life skills provider. So ask them to generate a list of situations or people that is causing stress in their life. Like halimbawa, yung school assignments, yung platform na ginagamit natin through online, yung troublesome friends, the bullying them on social media, yung overlapping schedule if there is, yung halimbawa possessive girlfriend or boyfriend, and being overweight also yung physical characteristics nila. Ito ba yung mga stressors nila na nararanasan ngayon? You have to ask them, assess it. Kasi nga ba yung aim natin? And then identify coping styles. Let them ponder on how they cope. 'Di ba, with the stressful situation kanina, 'di ba binigay na natin tong mga stress na to, and we have to aim in assess na natin yung current stressor. We have to let them identify ano yung kanilang mga coping styles. How do they deal with the load of school assignments? How do they deal kapag buffering yung kanilang internet connectivity? 'Di ba? At ngayon, how do they deal na hindi sila napapalabas sa labas because they were locked down for many long months or even year? 'Di ba? What music do they listen to? 'Di ba? Do they procrastinate? Ano yung mga unhealthy type of lifestyle na ginagawa nila, and then modify the behavior. So assess, identify the coping styles, and then we modify it, we change it. Okay? Modifying, we change it. Be aware of your physiological and emotional reaction to stress. Recognize what you can change. Diba? Ano ba yung pwede kong baguhin dito? Halimbawa, yung overeating, can I change that? Smoking, can I change that? Irritability to other people, can I change that one? Ba yung mabilis akong mairita? Or yung pagiging outburst kind of attitude, kahit paano ko ba ito mababago? So yun yung aim natin, assess, identify the coping styles, and then modify the behavior. So yun yung atin as, of course, a life skills provider. And then we utilize healthy coping styles, meeting with friends. This is the peer-to-peer approach, reading, travel, leisure, diba? Taking a shower, and other things na makakatulong sa atin in corporate healthy coping styles into your options. So practice healthy coping styles even though wala ka namang nararamdaman or nararanasan na intense stress at the present moment. With this, mapiprepare ka po just in case time will come that you have to encounter yung mga stress na yan para hindi ka ma-overwhelm at ready ka na. Kasi 'di ba yung ating tinuturo dito is you are ready to soar higher than the storm. Perfect. All right. Number 7 is creative thinking is the ability to see beyond the actual and direct experiences and to think beyond the traditional or conventional. Ito yung you are at your comfort zone but you get into your current zone. Diba? But you have to make sure that you don't go into your crazy zone. With creative thinking, you are thinking outside of the box. Diba? Ang galing, no? Thinking outside of the box. You're thinking the silver lining of the situation kapag ito ay medyo you are at the adversity of the situation, and given an ordinary situation, a creative thinker can come up with a different and fresh idea or a different perspective for that matter. And napakaganda nito kasi may mga kabataan talaga ngayon, iba din yung kanilang way to cope. Iba yung kanilang, kabataan ngayon are listening into music. That's their way of coping. Some are into yoga. Some are into image exercise. Some are into having pets. Some are into talking to nature. Mga ganon. Some are into traveling. Doon nila na ilalabas yung kanilang mga negative energies, and it's good. That's their way. And talagang thinking outside of the box of how can they help themselves also. And critical thinking po is the ability to study one's surroundings and experiences objectively. It denotes the ability and willingness to question the way things are and to not readily accept things at face value. Pag hinainan mo sila, sila mismo ay tinitingnan nila ito, hindi yung parang spoon feeding lang, but they have their own way. They are critical when it comes to solving problems, 'di ba? Yung problem solving skills nila, that it implies one's readiness to face the demise of crumbling of what he perceives as a basic and fundamental tricks in life and the inconveniences that these discoveries may bring. Alam nyo, itong critical thinking na ito, an individual evaluates the future consequences. Di ba lagi sa ating sinasabi na nasa huli ang pagsisisi? And I was thinking to myself, pwede bang nasa una ang pagsisisi? And can I ask you one question? This is a critical thinking question. Ano ba ang mas okay? Ano ba ang mas masaya? Ang mali pero masaya ka? O ang tama pero malungkot ka? You can type that on your chat box. Ano ba ang mas okay? Ano ba ang mas masaya? Ang mali pero masaya ka? O yung tama pero malungkot ka? Iiwanan ko lang po sa inyo. That's part of our critical thinking. And as a life skills provider, kailangan tinatanong din natin sila niyan. Ano ba ang mas masaya? Ang mali pero masaya ka? O ang tama pero malungkot ka? Diba? And yung pangalawang critical thinking question ko po sa inyo na gusto ko pong iiwan is, ano po ang pinaka mas masaya? Ha ha ha? O he he he? You can also type that in your chat box, pero po because of the interest of time, I cannot read it, mamaya na lang po. So yun po yung mga critical thinking questions po that I want you to ponder on as we finish our topic today. And number 9 is decision making. Kanina binanggit ni Yusik Earl, yung about yung decision making, yung life skills, yung pinaka-importanting parte ng life skills, which is also decision making. It is our ability to effectively use creative and critical thinking na kanina ay part din ng life skills, to analyze the issues that need to be decided on, to weigh the pros and the cons of each option kasi we are given the options. 'Di ba? Pag isa lang, 'di ba? Wala ka ng ibang options. So it's good that you have some options to choose from and choose the course of or courses of action based of what the individual believes to be the best of all the possible choices. 'Di ba? Yun nga ang sinasabi natin sa sales po, the numbers game, because the more prospects you have, the more chances of getting a sale. Ayan, sa decision making, it's a numbers game. So dito naman sinasabi yung options. Pag marami kang options, you have to narrow it to the best option. Ano yung pinaka-best option? I've mentioned earlier, hindi ka pang option, pang best choice ka. So yun yung tinuturo dito, if you have options, pang best choice ka. But this is a different kind of a thing. So dito po is tinibigyan ka ng options po and you choose the best option sa decision making mo yan. Ika nga, ano natin sa layman's perspective, meron kang plan A, may plan B, may plan C. Because if the plan A will not work, you have the plan B. And if the plan B will not work, you still have the plan C and so on and so forth. Ayan. So ano ba itong mga minor decisions sa mga kabataan? Acronym na naman para mas madali yung matandaan. So ito yung mga minor decisions like clothes, diba? Clothes, yung kanilang damit, household chores, outdoor activities, involvement in community, school or church affairs, companions, expenses and schedules. Ito yung choices, minor choices that the adolescents should make a decision on. Like yung anong damit ang isusuot nila kasi nowadays, di ba, may pinagtatalunan yan, dapat conservative or talagang hip and trendy. So itong mga minor na to, what will I wear? If I am going to wear something hip and trendy, my parents would actually react to it. Yung mga household chores, di ba, yung mga nanay, hindi ka pa nakakapaglaban, nag-ML ka na. Mga ganon, yung outdoor activities that you need to choose, involvement in which community causes or advocacies will you actually be involving on, companions, sino ba yung mga peers, yung mga kasama ko, yung mga chaperones ko, yung expenses, you're thinking about what to buy, di ba? And then yung schedule. So, ito yung mga minor choices, di ba? Ito yung kailangan pagdesisyonan. But there are also major choices. And the major choices that that adolescents are facing today, acronym ulit para mas madali niyong tandaan. So talagang I prepare this na talagang merong retention na maiwan sa inyo mga mga providers of life skills para yung mga learners natin ay matandaan nila. Companion for life. Diba? Ito yung mga major issues that they are confronted. Yung healthy lifestyle kanina, yung life goals nila, yung intimate relationships, yung career, yung education, and eto, sexuality-related behavior. And hindi lang yan, kundi kasama din po yung healthy lifestyle. Dito pumapasok po yung substance use. Ayun. Kasi po, dito sa healthy lifestyle na ating tinuturo sa kanila to make that decision po of creating that healthy lifestyle is staying away from sad, from smoking alcohol and drugs, and saying yes to happy life. Alright? So yun yung minor choices. Major choices, sana natandaan nyo po yan. And for major decisions, again, I am using po an acronym para mas matandaan. Select and make the best decision. From the word select, that's our acronym. Kaya kanina, di ba, may stress, may aim. Sana po nag-take down niyo po yun kasi ang ganda-ganda. But I can send you the PowerPoint presentation para kayo na yung magturo sa mga hindi naka-attend ngayon because kailangan mas spread po ito. Ang ganda eh. Alright? And of course, meron tayong minor and major choices. Ito naman, we select the best decision. Yung sa select po, yung letter S natin is step back from the situation. Let the adolescents think for some time. Allow them to think. Allow them to process. Allow them to analyze. Let them define the real problem. Ano pa talagang issue na pinagdadaanan nila? Alam nila yan. So step back. As a provider, you need to step back. Allow them to talk. Allow them to process it themselves. And then letter E is explore all the angles of the situation. Let them gather information from all sources. Diba? Kasi mahilig naman yan silang mag-browse sa Google because in Google we trust. Encourage them to talk to other people, especially to you. Diba? Doon na. So, doon sa interpersonal relationship, yun sa exploring nagiging mas kampante sila. They would be able to tell their stories, what they are going through. Yon. Kaya minsan hindi sila nakakapag-share sa parents. They cannot even share to teachers because they are afraid na sisermonan sila. Kaya they share with their peers, they share with their friends. Ayan. Look for alternatives. Let them identify as many alternatives as they can. Sometimes the best alternative comes from the most unlikely sources. Yung mga hindi natin ini-expect na mga sources, yun pa minsan yung pinaka-best alternative. Oh my goodness, I was not able to think na ito pala yung the best alternative for me. Diba? Yung parang hindi mo inaasahan, bigla lang nag-pop up and it becomes the best alternative. Ayan. So look for alternatives. Letter E, examine consequences of each alternative. You have to weigh the pros and cons, the positive and the negative. And you have to weigh carefully. You have to study carefully what best, what will help you best and what will not help you. All right. So you can think of ways to minimize counter or negative counteractive situations, yung mga negative consequences, okay? And optimize po the positive ones. So examine natin po kung ano yung magiging disadvantages, yung consequences of each alternative and choose. Let them decide the best alternative, the one with the most positive result. Hindi ikaw ang magde-decide para sa kanila. Sila ang magde-decide para sa sarili nila. You can just recommend, you can advise, you can encourage, you can motivate, but you should not choose. It should be them. Let them decide what is best for them. That is their life, and let them decide for it. And take action. Teach them to take action and responsibility. Let them outline a plan. Dapat may action din sila, and they have to implement their decision. There should They should include things or activities to counteract negative consequences. Kailangan alam na nila yan. Negotiate the decision. Diba? If you're seeing it na hindi to magiging okay sa kanila, you suggest, you advise, you negotiate also para at least baka mabago nila ito, diba? Baka mapag-isipan nila, and also let them own their decision and face the consequences. I've been telling you this a lot of times. Let them suffer the dozens of their own medicine. They should be able to embrace correction. They should be love correction. And at the end, they should be able to take the right way, to turn into the right way. Ayan. When your adolescents make a bad decision, lagi yung i-emphasize sa kanila, again, eto na naman yung ating acronym, di ba? May mga bagay, if they are consumed by the negative feelings, it will actually make them feel down. And yung down na ito, they will feel devastated, they will feel rejected. And I've mentioned that a lot of times, di ba? Rejection is not rejection at all. It is redirecting you to something better. They will feel outcasted na nag-iisa na lang sila. Kaya kailangan nating bantayan ito. Kasi initiating of drugs when they feel that they are outcasted, na wala silang ibang malapitan or masandalan, kundi yung droga, kundi yung bisyo. Because even their family let them feel alone. Even their friends already abandoned them. Even their significant others have abandoned or torn their back against them. And wallow in self-pity. Naaawa sila sa kanilang mga sarili. They feel miserable and blame themselves of their bad judgment. Mali ako. I am nothing. I made the wrong decision and wala nang mangyayari sa buhay ko. And of course, negative about life and other people. They become antagonistic and hostile. So dahil sa kanilang naranasan, dahil sa pagkakaroon ng self-pity, yung kanilang tingin sa buhay ay nagiging negative, and it makes them down, down, down. So kailangan po, they have to rise, 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 and they have to soar, diba? Soar above the storm. Yun tayo mga life skills provider. They should raise, lagi natin, not rise, but raise. They should raise themselves, and that is also an acronym. Raising, diba? Or raise themselves from the pit they have fallen into. Review their decision. Let them find out what went wrong. Let them look for lessons or moral of the story, the learning opportunities they learn from their decision. When you review it, accept the consequences. They have to swallow the bitter pill that goes with the wrong choice, diba? It will help them if they have anticipated these negative consequences. Kaya nga, diba, para dun sa mga gumamit ng drugs, kapag denial sila, mahirap talaga itong masolusyonan. Yung treatment and rehabilitation is not good if they have not accepted to themselves na sila ay nagkamali. Kapag denial sila, mas magiging matagal po yung process of healing. Pero kapag natanggap nila ito and they are very much willing to swallow the bitter pill out from it, from their decision, then nagiging okay ito, nagiging successful po yung rehabilitation process. No relapse is happening. So talagang tuloy-tuloy yung pagbabago. Increase resolve to do better in the future. Tell them not to commit the same mistake. Tinanong din po yan doon sa Miss Philippines po during the pre-finals. Ang tanong, would you advise a young person or adolescent to commit the same mistakes? Diba? And marami pong nagsabi doon na not the same mistakes, but mistakes, diba? Because you will learn from it, but tell them not to commit the same mistake, diba? Yun naman yung pinaka-importante doon sa race, diba? R-A-I-S-E, and S, share experiences with others, encourage them to unload their feelings. Do not be afraid to share the weaknesses that you have, the wrong decisions, the outcome of the wrong decisions, because sometimes your brokenness might be a healer to somebody else's brokenness. I'll say that again kasi ang ganda. Your brokenness may become a healer to someone else's brokenness. Oy. Ay. Alright? And encourage them to look forward to the future. Lagi nating tatandaan yung kanta, there's a rainbow after the rain. Diba? So yun, lagi nating tatandaan yan. Ibig sabihin, there is light after the end of the tunnel. Encourage them to look forward to the future. The future is brighter than what they think it is. Ayan. And number 10, problem solving, the ability to develop solutions for internal or interpersonal problems and conflicts. An adolescent with problem solving skills is capable of having a complete picture of the problems, analyzing the root causes of the problems, anong pinag-ugatan nito, all right? And at the same time, coming up with an objective assessment, diba, of pertinent issues and concerns, problem solving skills, the ability to develop that solution. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, solution-driven siya, not problem-driven. Kasi pag problem-driven and looking at the problem, pero kapag solution-driven ka, talagang you're looking at the solution. You are not whining of the problem, but you are looking at the solution. And especially nowadays, adolescents should know that they should not Facebook their problem, but rather they should face their problem. Again, they should not Facebook their problem, but they should face their problem. Lagi natin ituturo sa kanila yan, ha? And negotiating skills. Negotiating skills can help your adolescents manage a lot of different life situations in school, diba? And then teachers then at work, if they are working, and in their personal relationship. Negotiating skills. Ang ganda nito kasi mahinahon ka lang, hindi kayong laging aggressive agad. 'Di ba, yung approach mo is laging pasigaw agad. Yung you are on a fighting mode always, but if you know if you have the negotiating skills, lagi kang mahinahon, laging you want to settle things in a good tone, laging pacified ka, lagi kang kalmado. And I think yun yung isang pinakamagandang natutunan ko dito sa life skills. Kasi I always, di ba, alam nyo naman, kilala nyo naman ako, when I talk, hyper na hyper talaga ako. And my boss, the VP of our company, doon sa, lagi kasi kami ina-assess every year. And the VP of my company told me na, you should develop your negotiating skills, Santi. Kasi doon ka magiging pacified, magiging relaxed, magiging kalmado. And yun, I think, talaga yung kailangan ko. If there's one thing I want to admit with you na kahinaan ko is the negotiating skills. And this is what I've learned from the life skills. And yun yung tumatak sa akin na sinabi ng boss ko. Kaya sabi ko, kailangan matutunan kayong negotiating skills. Para if I know how to negotiate, mas relax ka, mas kampante ka, mas kalmado ka. And ito rin yung magandang bagay na dapat matutunan natin sa mga life skills provider when people are not, di ba? Pag meron tayong mga programs sa ating school, parang hindi sila ganun ka-participative, but it's okay, still negotiate pa rin. This is a good one, listen to this. Huwag tayong panghinaan ng loob that nobody is listening to us. I started also the same as you, all of you listening to me, na wala namang nakikinig, pero kailangan go and go lang talaga. Alright? And in the end, marami rin makikinig sa'yo. Like what's happening po sa career ko. So I think it's really negotiating skills. Just listen to this. Di ba? Libre naman to. Wala namang mawawala sa'yo. And more people right now are listening to me because I negotiated it well of encouraging them to listen to me kasi may matututunan sila. Ayan. Skills in negotiation can help your adolescents to handle serious concerns with their peers, partners, or areas like in cases of premarital sex, sexual violence, dating practices, and sexuality, and even lifestyle choices. So nakakatulong to. Yung negotiation na ito, yung skills na ito in negotiation can help our adolescent and even as a provider po. It provides a fair solution. It makes you feel good about yourself and increases actually the respect that others have for you. Ayan. Okay. Sige, moving on. So dito sa negotiating, I've learned about bargaining. So ang atin pong acronym is bargain. So bargain po is letter B po is building rapport and points of agreements. Kailangan makuha mo muna talaga yung yung loob niya. So building rapport actually, sometimes I do mirroring. I follow yung mga yung mga style, alam ba yung hand gesture, I follow that also para makita ng aking kausap na mini-mirror niya ako. That's one thing sa bargaining and sa negotiating skill that I'm teaching you right now is actually mirroring. Ayan, but we have to make sure po na hindi lahat naman na gagawin niya is we have to mirror. We have to mirror yung mga actions that we think that can help in terms of like talking to the person or negotiating with the person. Ayan. So, establish po that the discussion will be non-threatening, non-judgmental, and it will be friendly. And letter A is attend to what is being said by other person. Attending po is looking into the eyes of the person. Listening carefully talaga. Pakinggan ang pakinggan natin. Sometimes, people approach us not because they want our advice. They approach us because they need someone to listen to them, and respect for each other's view, because your view is as good as their views. Tandaan niyo po, I'll say that again. Your view is as good as their views. Ayan, grant reasonable concessions. So it's between you and him. So kailangan mag-create kayong dalawa ng isang atmosphere that is relaxed, that is friendly, and at the same time you compromised, and right? And analyze the advantage and disadvantages of both parties. You identify the agreements and decisions made at the end of the negotiation, and negotiate as an adult. Do not act childishly. Ayan, kasi as a as a life skills provider, tayo dapat is we have to negotiate as an adult. Do not act childishly. But we can act we can have a childlike act. Magkaiba yun sa childish. Ayan, childlike act kasi is something that you give that innocence, non-judgmental kay pure, 'di ba? That you are willing, like the sponge, that you are willing to learn from the person, and you are very willing also to change kapag may nakuha ka sa kanya, kasi minsan ang akala natin as provider tayo na yung nakakaalam, but when we are given ideas and we believe that the ideas is okay, then we learn to appreciate it, and we can also change, 'di ba, whatever it is na nakakahuna sa atin. Ayan, and number 12 is refusal skills. This is the final one. This is the ability to say no. All right? Well, your adolescent children need to be open to the new ideas. Some of the decisions that they make must remain non-negotiable. Kaya nga po, di ba, non-negotiable po ang pagsuot ng face mask and face shield. We should wear that every time we go out. Di ba? Pero po, yung saying no to the use of substance, di ba, this should also be non-negotiable. Non-negotiable po dapat ito rin. Kailangan po, say no talaga. Ayan. Talaga po, Sir Santi, yes. Kasi wala pang nagsabi ng dahil gumamit ng drugs, gumanda ang buhay. So bakit ka pa gagamit? But what we want our adolescents or our learners to know is kailangan they should be able to say no, but they are not pressing to others' toes. And they should be very objective, that they should not be able to hurt other people's feelings while they say no. And playing righteous po, while others are not, is not okay in terms of refusal. Kaya yung skills po is teaching you to be humble when you refuse. Diba? Kasi dapat, when you refuse, you also is practicing non-judgmental refusal. Ayun. Ganun pala yung Sir Santi. Yes. So, some of the most important areas where your adolescent children need to refuse, or else they will actually feel sorry. So dito na naman yung acronym natin sa sorry. So dapat i-refuse sila sex and sex-related activities. Diba? Yan. So sorry yan sila pag hindi nila yan tinanggihan. Ayan. So dapat no. You refuse. Otherwise, sorry ka. Ayan. Overspending, living beyond their means. We have to teach our young people to be financially literate. Importante po ito. Alright? Risk-taking behavior such as taking drugs, ito na alcoholic drinks, tobacco, and membership in gangs and fraternities. Ito yung mga risk-taking behavior, rebellion against parents or authority, like cutting classes, leaving the house without permission, graffiti, vagrancy, and other things, and youthful excesses such as playing video games, chatting, and involvement in things na hindi kaaya-aya. Ayan, ganun pala yung Sir Santi. So it is really hard for adolescents to say no. It could be that they do not want to offend or embarrass other people, especially those who are close to them. But the thing is for them to be true to themselves. They need to learn to say no firmly or to refuse. And sa refuse po, another acronym, reversing the pressure, expressing their disagreement and refusing politely, fleeing from the situation or place, or they can go away. When they go away, it is not that they are disrespecting the person, but it's not just, they know that it is not going to help them. Using refusal words or phrases, suggesting an alternative or activities instead, like halimbawa, mag-basketball na lang, mag-yoga na lang, yon, mag-badminton na lang instead, and explaining why you need to refuse calmly, diba, through the negotiation skills. Yan. So sana po ay naano niyo po yung acronym na tandaan. Every life skills plays a crucial role in the lives of adolescents because it helps. And this is an acronym once again, yung helps. All right? H helps adolescents gain psychosocial capacity, achieve holistic self-development. Ito talaga yung purpose why we teach life skills to our learners. Diba? Gain psychosocial capacity and holistic self-development. It enables the adolescents to learn simple tips on how to say no and develop a healthy self-image, establish healthy relationships with other people, and have that honest and truthful self-awareness. And that is empowering the person to think critically and make a sound judgment of whatever is confronted to him. Lessens the sexual and non-sexual risky behavior. So tinapik ko na rin po ito, hindi lang doon po sa substance use, but also yung sexual and non-sexual risky behaviors. It protects them from the daily hazards of life, and it strengthens the adolescent's capacity to do what he or she knows is right. It helps. Life skills helps, and it helps the adolescents to make and strengthen his or her capacity to know what is right. So to continue to do what is right, even though other people may not do the right thing, even other people shall not do the right thing, and even other people have decided not to do the right thing. So do the right thing, even though other people may not. All right. Characteristics of a life-skilled adolescent. Unang-una po, pag meron ka, pag trained ka, pag empowered ka, lifelong learner ka. Tuloy-tuloy. A lifelong learner has gained basic knowledge. Na-develop na yan at the onset, basic lang, pero as it move forward, talagang nag-maximize mo na yung iyong pagiging learner. And it maximizes also the opportunities, employment opportunities. Those who have life skills are empowered and therefore they are employable. Promise. Diba, nangunguna sila sa mga listahan na pinag-aagawan ng mga kumpanya. Alright? You strive to initiate your learning and shows a positive and personal responsibility lifelong, pangmatagalan. Hindi lang ito band-aid system. Life skills is a lifelong protection against the adversities of the society. Ayan. Complex thinker, critical, diba? Dynamic thinker, variety of the cognitive skills. Yun, yung tinuturo sa atin appropriately in diverse situations. You demonstrate a variety of the thinking process or the cognitive process using various thinking skills. Diba? Yun talaga, realistic na pag-iisip. And at the same time, you also value the consequences out from the decisions that you make kapag hindi ito okay. And you enhance yourself by considering new ideas, accepting the new perspective to expand your understanding. You balance your reason of your critical thinking and your emotion. Ayan. You balance na the IQ and the EQ. Yun na yung ibig sabihin. So, complex thinker ka, effective communicator, your language is okay, your verbal is okay, your non-verbal is okay, your paraverbal is okay. You effectively channel the communication. You want to be understood and they understand you. Perfect. Yun ang ibig sabihin. Yun yung aim ng life skills. These skills include recognizing community needs, hindi lang ikaw. You volunteer your service to the community, you advocate, you identify, you criticize for the good way, you abide and manage laws that guide personal, family, community, and workplace activities. So, eting ini-aim, di ba? Talagang sobrang effective communicator ka kasi nasa-channel mo yung right message and the right direction that you want. Collaborator ka. Hindi ka yung me, myself, and I. It's rather we. Diba? So you are a good collaborator. Team effort ka. Together, everyone achieves more. You build the society. You just don't build yourself. You help these kids build their future for them. So you are a life skills provider that is collaborative in nature, and you want these children in the near future to achieve their dreams. because by achieving your dreams, it seems that you did something good at your lifetime. A responsible citizenship. I love being a Filipino, and this life skills, when used properly, all right, if it is shared, will actually help us in terms of our social, economical, even our political, lalo na malapit ng election, civic and spiritual resources in our community. We recognize that these skills is important sa ating community. Kasi nga, marami po tayong mga voluntary kind of services and advocacy in our environment. We identify, but at the same time, we manage also to point out the lapses. Diba? Yun yung pinakamaganda eh. So responsible citizenship is not just praising the good deeds our leaders have done, but also calling out that our leaders should be responsible to the not so good things that they are doing. This is a responsible citizenship, not just saying yes, but also sometimes saying no when you think that they are not doing right. Ayan. Employable individual. So kasama ka na, you are competitive globally, not just nationally. Di ba? So ikaw na, susunod ka na sa yapak ng ating mga speakers dito, nila Professor Grace from UP, nila Pastor LJ na master trainer, and of course, ito yung inyong humble servant today. So tama, yung skills mo, yung knowledge mo, na share mo sa iba, you inspire them to live with their purpose, to share it with others, to motivate and inspire others. And to end my talk, in summary, as our adolescent children acquire these life skills, they can say, I can see. This is the summary. I've talked a lot. I know that. And you might not be able to ingest all of these things, but I hope you can remember some of the most motivating po na learnings that I have shared. Pero to sum it all, in summary po, I can see. Sana matandaan nyo ito. Ano yung na-develop sa life skills? I can see. Letter I, interpersonal relationships. Letter C, your critical and creative thinking. Letter A is the ability to manage your emotions and ability to cope with stress. Letter N is negotiating skills that I can. And yung C po, self-awareness and sound decision making. Letter E, empathy or putting yourself in the shoes of others. And letter E, channeling that effective communication and the effective refusal skills. And life skills actually teaches us, I can see. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good afternoon, everyone. I hope I was not able to stay longer po, pero I know na nag-exceed po ako sa time ko. Maraming salamat for staying po. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. And I can see.
Wow, thank you so much, Sir Santi, for that brilliant, thorough, and exceedingly clear presentation. Surely it is a moment of enlightenment for all of us. But should you have comments, questions, and other feedback, please go to the link presented in your screen because we'd love to hear from you guys.
Ayan, dear participants, we are now 3.1 thousand who are viewing live sa ating Facebook page. Ayan, Sir Santi, ang dami pong nakinig hanggang sa mga oras na ito. Tunay ngang napaka-interesting po ng topic at saka nakaka-good vibes din po yung energy. Talagang nararamdaman din po namin yung energy ni Sir Santi na nagdi-discuss. For our first comment and feedback coming from our participants from Region 1, SDO Pangasinan, from Buenlag National High School. This is from Teacher Jaime D. Pascua. According to him, Sir Santi, the topic was educational for me, especially learning the importance of life skills in drug prevention. It will help a lot to deal with the adolescent and guide them in order to avoid conflicts and transform their knowledge, attitudes, and values into concrete part of their life for the betterment of the future. Ayan. Thank you po, Teacher Jaime, for that feedback. Maraming salamat po.
Yes, another comment from Ma'am Maider B. Padul, Teacher 1 from Buliluyan National High School, Division of Palawan, Mimaropa. The speaker is so lively and you learned a lot from him. He's a very good speaker. Wow, I
Very good
totally
speaker
agree,
nga.
ma'am. Yes. 5%, uh, 500% ang energy ni sir.
Okay,
Yes.
next from Mimaropa region. From Division of Palawan, Maasin National High School, we have here teacher Rio B. Belledo. Ang sabi niya po, the topic in the webinar is very knowledgeable enough for us as a teacher and also for the students. Yes, tama po kayo, Ma'am Rio. Maraming maraming salamat po for your comment.
Yes, we have another comment here from Ma'am Erlin C. Austria, Teacher 1 of Lian National High School, Batangas. We are blessed to have this kind of webinar. Gives us information about the importance of life skills in drug prevention. Yes, I totally agree na naman po. On my end, I have so many takeaways this afternoon. Mga
Yan,
quotable quotes, mga FB post-worthy quotes. Ayan, ang dami, sir.
tama ka dyan, partner. Another comment from teacher Cheryl A. Garcia. I really enjoyed the session. The speaker knows well the topic and very lively. Tamang-tama po ang itong comment ni Ma'am Cheryl. Ano nga ba ang nakakatawa, yung ha-ha-ha or yung he-he-he? Sir Santi.
Ay, sasagutin ko na po ba yun? Yung sa critical thinking kanina? Alright. Nothing really, hindi naman siya very practical lang. Kasi pag naghahaha ka, bukang-buka yung bibig mo. So, mas masaya siya. Ha, ha, ha. Tingnan mo yung hehehe. Di ba? Nakatikom lang siya ng ganon. Controlled siya eh. Medyo reserved ka. Kaya mas masaya po yung ha, ha, ha kesa sa hehehe. Doon lang sa pattern po ng opening of the mouth. Di ba? So, ha, ha, ha. Di ba? Tingnan mo, ha, ha, ha. Bukang-buka siya. Yung hehehe, maliit lang.
Oh,
Ayan.
wow.
And ang sagot ko sa critical thinking question po, kung ano ang mas okay, yung mali pero masaya ka o yung tama pero malungkot ka. Yung tama pero malungkot ka kasi kailanman hindi naging malungkot ang paggawa ng tama.
Yes. Wow.
But Sir Santi?
Yes po.
Yes, Sir Santi, on my end, I have so many haha moments ngayong hapon na to.
Thank
Grabe.
you.
Yan, ang dami po nating takeaways sa discussions coming from
Yes.
Sir Santi to see the positivity in every stressful situation. Ika nga. Yeah.
Okay, for our last comment from Ma'am Chris Mary S. Cinco, Teacher 1 of Okyot National High School, Bais City Division, Region 7. Sabi niya, today's episode is indeed very helpful, especially in dealing our everyday life. Life skills is very helpful in coping our different emotions due to life stress. The speaker is very well versed with the topic and he's very captivating the way. Wow.
Ayan. Wow na wow nga naman. May pahabol pa tayo, partner. Isang question coming from
Yes.
Region 1, Huwed National High School from teacher Ruby Bauzan. Ang sabi niya po dito, Sir Santi, what activities are advisable for us to develop our skills and divert our attention from the use of drugs? Sir
Ay, ang
Santi?
ganda. Kaso lang, ang life skills kasi, it's really activity-based. So, madami talaga siyang mga activities like how to improve your self-esteem, mayroon yung filling of cups, di ba? Tapos habang nagpupuno ka ng baso, sinasabihan mo siya na, you look good today. So, parang nakaka-enhance siya. Marami. This is activity-based. However, hindi kasi face-to-face ito. Mas maganda sana kung ginawa natin na face-to-face kasi magiging activity-centered siya. So, yung 12 skills na yon, merong activity yon wherein you can relate. Doon kanina sa una natin na self-awareness, ano ba yung mga activities related to self-awareness that is also related doon sa papaano siya makakaiwas sa droga kapag ikaw ay naging self-aware. Ayan, mga ganun siya. So, activity-based, ang ganda ng tanong ni ma'am. Kaso lang, since ang atin pong platform ngayon ay virtual, hindi natin magagawa na mag-activity tayo kasi hindi naman natin makikita yung isa't isa. Pero that is very good kasi yung ating life skills na yon, 'di ba, 12 siya na compositions of that life skills. Naka-center yan ng bawat activity na yan would lead actually to saying no. Kasi 'di ba, when you are aware of yourself, when you have that critical thinking attitude, when you can effectively communicate, yung mga ganon, yung refusal skill mo, when you are empowered, when you are taught of that, then you can say no just in case yung friends mo or kung sino man yung mag-o-offer sa'yo to try, to initiate the use of drugs. So definitely yung life skills na to is evidence-based. Gusto ko lang i-point out, it's evidence-based. Hindi ito gawa-gawa. Evidence-based po ito. Pag sinabing evidence-based, yung efficacy rating niya po is that high. That is really a factor po para ma-prevent yung paggamit ng droga. Kasi nga, yung initiation talaga, we cut the initiation, ayaw talaga natin silang tumikim. And this is evidence-based. Life skills po is evidence-based. Its efficacy rate is higher. 'Di ba? So talagang good question po yan na sinabi ni Ma'am kanina. However, since yung atin pong limited po tayo in terms of our platform, so hindi po natin nagagawa yung activity po that leads actually kung ano ba yung self-awareness. Ano ba itong mga self-awareness na kailangan natin gawin? And at the same time, kailangan lang natin siyang i-review para makasay no sa initiation of substance.
Thank you so much, Sir Santi. At ayan, may nakapost po sa ating screen for today from Nurse Anton. Wow! Kailanman hindi naging malungkot ang paggawa ng tama. Piliin pa rin natin ang maging mabuti dahil truly kindness ang boomerang.
Yes po.
Yeah.
Kindness po is the new cool. So, pag cool ka, kind ka. Pag
Yeah.
kind ka, cool ka. Thank you, teacher.
Wow. So ayan, bumabaha ng comments, positive comments and feedbacks ang ating platform this afternoon from our audience. Thank you so much, Sir Santi, for supplementing your lecture by answering the questions, by giving additional inputs to us this afternoon. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Sir Santi, for that positive vibes na shinare mo niyo po sa amin and to all our 3.1 thousand viewers.
Thank
We
you,
are
Lord.
happy that this webinar has been fruitful and interactive for all of us. No, ano po? Now we go to the awarding of the Certificate of Appreciation to our diligent resource speaker. Allow me po to read the content of the certificate. The Department of Education Republic of the Philippines, this certificate of appreciation is presented to Santaner T. Iray for sharing his expertise as a resource person in the session of the 2021 National Drug Education Program webinar series entitled The Importance of Life Skills in Drug Prevention, conducted on October 28, 2021, 2 p.m. onwards. The undersigned, the Chief School Health Division, Dr. Maria Corazon C. Dumlao, the OIC Director 4 of Bureau of Learner Support Services, Director Lope B. Santos III, and Undersecretary for Administration, USEC Alain Del B. Pascua. Thank you po, Sir Santi.
Thank you po. And bago lang po magtapos, gusto ko lang pong batiin, baka po magtampo po sa akin. Yung mga SDO po sa Gapan City po, naka-tune in po ngayon, prinomote ko po kasi ito, and yung atin pong mga teachers po at kaibigan sa New Washington Elementary School po, and then yung mga teachers din po sa Pulo Elementary School. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you po for tuning in. Ang lahat po ng mga teachers po sa Aklan, hi po, kasi taga dun po ako, sensya na po.
Yan.
Yan.
Wow, shout out to you guys there. Ayan. Okay, so once again, we are grateful, Sir Santi, for sharing your time and expertise to our NDEP advocates. Now, having heard the new knowledge and learning from this webinar, I believe our audience is excited to share this in their respective places. Ayan. And if you are asking how to claim your certificate at this moment, there, you just have to divert your attention in your screen because you can access your certificate in the link provided in your screen. Certificates are generated through the DepEd PD LMS. Upon registration, participants are provided with an enrollment key which they can use to access the NDEP webinar series course in the system. Registered participants must accomplish the evaluation form at the link provided in your screen to get a certificate of attendance for the session.
And to all our dear NDEP advocates and to all who are still watching we've reached this far. Akalain nyo nga naman, di ba, mga partner, from
Yes.
June hanggang sa mga oras na ito, magkakasakasama pa rin po tayo. For a recap, this webinar series is started with the first episode with the topic entitled Helping Youth to Stay Drug-Free Through Literacy last June 24 po yan.
Yes, and it was followed by the second episode, Psychosocial Support for Students at Risk of Substance Abuse, last July 22.
Of course, last August 26, we had the third episode. We talk about Going the Distance, the online delivery of drug education.
We also learned about the implementation cycle of prevention interventions for our fourth episode last month, September 23.
And finally, this has been the fifth and final episode, mga kasama. Congratulations, advocates, for not giving up to grow and learn more. After all, ito nga ay para sa bata at para sa bayan.
Yes. But before we officially end our program, the Bureau of Learner Support Services School Health Division would like to thank the Dangerous Drugs Board, ASEAN Training Center for Preventive Drug Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Public Affairs Service, Youth Formation Division, DepEd Regional Offices, School Health and Nutrition Personnel, and all of you guys.
And of course, their partner, Nurse Precious, and I are grateful to Senior Education Program Specialist Ma'am Girly Azurin and her team for the chance to be your host for today. So, our Regional Director, Dr. Benjamini Paragas, our ARD, Dr. Jessie L. Amin, the ESSD Chief, Sir Joselito Narag, our Regional Medical Officer, Doc. Rebecca Batum, our dentist in the region, Dr. Ryan Rosales Packing, of course, Miss Edita Obiña, our resident nutritionist dietitian. Hello po, maraming salamat po sa pagtutok. Thank you for the push.
Yes, also allow me to extend my acknowledgements to our SDS Cherry S. Ramos, ASDS Jonathan A. Fronda, SGOD Chief Rosalia B. Gutierrez, CID Chief Janet V. Bautista, Dr. Alvin T. Agustin, Dr. Leia Arredroso, the Division Nurses Miss Catherine A. Madrid, Miss Cheryl Bidoluna, YFP Division Coordinator Christian Echiha, DIO Marfil A. Dulay, all our division and NDEP focal person and BKD coordinators. Thank you so much.
And of course, shout out din po to all the teaching and non-teaching staff of SGO Quirino, headed by our SDS Dr. Florda Liza C. Hecobe, ASDS Dr. Cheryl R. Ramiro, SID Chief Sir George G. Sadul Sr., SGOD Chief Ma'am Elinita B. Ugot, EPS in SGOD, Dr. Feli L. Manuel, AO5 Ma'am Cynthia R. Indunan, and of course, our Medical Officer 3, Dr. Maria Elizabeth T. Bernardes, our dentists, Dr. Grace Baswell and Doc Sharon May Lucas. Sa mga kasama din po nating division nurses, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. We have here Ma'am Tina, Ma'am Ila, Ma'am Moy, Ma'am Helen, and Ma'am Vanessa. Ayan, good afternoon po. Thank you po for watching and for the support.
Yes. Once again, this has been Nurse Precious reminding you you can be all what you wanted to be. That's why choose to be drug-free.
Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon na maging bahagi ng programang ito. Ako ang inyong lingkod, Nurse Nico Salvador, na nagsasabing droga ay iwasan at pagtuunan ang kinabukasan. Sama-sama po nating harapin ang mga hamon ng makabagong panahon para sa kalusugan, paaralan at pamayanan. Hanggang sa muli, continue to spread love and happiness. Keep safe and God bless po sa ating lahat. Kung kayo po ay nabitin sa ating virtual tour, ayan, we have more to show you. Your Islands and Valley of Fun, Cagayan Valley Region.
Wow.
Umaga sa bahay ni Kuya habang nag-swimming, si Brenda may napagtripan.